episode number 51. I am your host, Ryan Smith, alongside former NFL tight end Ben Troupe. Ben, it is good to see you as always, sir. This is the start of our division previews for the next 8 or so weeks, starting with the NFC East tonight. Cowboys, Redskins, Commanders, Eagles, and Giants. And but as we always do, let's go ahead and start out with first things first. Cowboys All-Pro kick returner Gavon Turpin was arrested today on 2 misdemeanor charges.
I mean, they are misdemeanor charges. You never ever want to make the news for the wrong reasons. Because they're misdemeanors, it'll end up being much to do about nothing. But if you are the Cowboys, they're going to do the whole, we are aware of the situation with Turpin. We have looked into it, and we have no further, response. But I'm never downplaying any arrests, but it is misdemeanor. He will learn from it. It'll be water on the bridge by training camp time.
As sad news today, ex-Texans and Eagles linebacker Brian Bremen is seeking treatment with a rare form of cancer, an aggressive form of cancer. His long-time agent describing the situation as extremely serious.
Yeah, I saw that, man. I feel bad for him. I saw that. I know the Eagle Nation. I know that Mr. Lurie are gonna do all they can to help him. It's a rare form of cancer, but if it affects one of us, it affects all of us when it comes to the NFL brotherhood, NFL family. We are praying that he definitely recover, but I know that Mr. Lurie, the Eagles, the current Eagles, former Eagles, and the Eagle Nation are going to do all they can to help this young man in his situation. Praying for him.
Yeah. Steelers signed general manager Omar Khan to a new 3-year contract.
Who they signed?
The GM, Omar Khan.
I guess when you sign Aaron Rodgers, it help you get a contract extension. But we'll see, because I didn't even know who the GM was for the Steelers, so at least he's making an appearance. Okay, they actually have a GM.
Just a couple more here. This happened right after our last episode last week. Governor of Ohio, Brian DeWine, approving funding for a new Browns domed stadium, which doesn't seem right in my opinion, because Cleveland and dome just doesn't make sense. Come on, what are we doing here?
If Cleveland's not going to go to a Super Bowl like my Titans, at least they're going to get a chance to host a Super Bowl, because cold weather cities have to have domes. Detroit, New York don't have a dome, but then the last time they went up there, it was Seahawks versus Denver, and that didn't go well with Peyton Manning. But the Browns need something to feel good about. Shadur Sanders is out playing Dylan Gabriel right now. We don't know we don't know how good or bad they're going to be. Congratulations to Deshaun Watson, who got married, and so to speak. And listen, if the Titans are getting a new stadium, and what? Kansas City trying to decide they're going to stay in Kansas City, Missouri, or go to Kansas City, Kansas. Washington's getting a new stadium. Jacksonville's getting a new stadium. The Browns said, can we get a new stadium? So I guess they are indeed going to get a new one.
Yep. All right, last few here. Former Miami Dolphins Pro Bowl safety Rashad Jones got $2 million stole from him. A woman and a former financial advisor of his, Isaiah Williams is the name, stealing $1.58 million from Jones using his assets from his personal bank account.
Yeah, the thing about that is, for people who how can that kind of stuff happen? When you are a player, sometimes most of us have financial advisors, but most of us have a team of advisors. Shout out to Covenant Partners when I was with the Tennessee Titans, Tampa Bay Bucks, and then Oakland Raiders. Shout out to Miss Mickey and them. This is why I chose them. They said, Ben, we're not going to steal from you. And this is what they said, because you don't make enough money for us to steal from you. We represent billionaires. So I feel bad for Rashad Jones. You work too hard for your money. And the thing is, while you can sue those people can go to jail, you end up either never getting your money back, or these people going to, quote, pay you back over time. I don't know how you pay back $1.58 million, but I hope he does find a way to get his money back.
And then finally, last one here on First Things First. Kansas Legislation Committee has extended the deadline for the Chiefs and Royals to take advantage of their stadium financing plan from their state. Officially, the Kansas Council Monday unanimously approved the extension to cover bonds over 70% of the new stadium's cost if the teams decide to relocate from Missouri to the state of Kansas. The deadline was June 30th. Now it is December 1st. June 30th, 2026 is now the new deadline. So basically a year from a couple of days ago.
So basically a year from now, Kansas City Chiefs and Kansas City Royals will be moving to Kansas City, Kansas, and not be in Kansas City, Missouri, And for people thinking, how far is that? I heard it's not that far at all. I heard it's like, I don't know, 20 minutes. It ain't nothing. But if you are Kansas City, Missouri, that is one thing you had over Kansas City, Kansas, at least for one more year. Because 2026, the Royals and the Chiefs will be moving to Kansas. And then the governor of Kansas will then take credit for all of Patrick Mahomes' successes or failures at that point.
Exactly. All right. Well, as we move into our division preview here for the NFC East, just remind everyone where you hear this podcast. The audio version is the Keep Pounding Podcast Network, where we are powered by the Fans First Sports Network. The YouTube version, youtube.com/Tobacco Road Sports Radio. And even though Father's Day is over, just remember our friends over at 1-800-Flowers.com have you covered. Remember, anything you want for your dad, a late Father's Day gift, summer flower arrangements for the fall coming up, whatever you want, they're all there. Go to our friends at 1-800-Flowers.com. Well, Ben, it is time for division preview number 1, NFC East. That is the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Washington Commanders, and Philadelphia Eagles. Let's welcome in our fans of these teams tonight. I'm going to go ahead and add them in, and we'll get it started here. All right. What's up, gentlemen?
Good evening.
Good evening.
How y'all doing?
Good. I will watch for the other Commanders fan, who is also Brian, by the way. So I'll watch for him. Don't have him in right now, so hopefully he'll be coming in a little bit. But for now, we'll start with we'll have the three of you. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. I know all three of you, but Ben does not. So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Obviously, you're wearing the fandom, so I think he knows where all of you are affiliated. But introduce yourselves, who you are, anything you want to say besides your name, and how you became a fan of your team. Anyone can start.
Yeah, I'll start, and I can't speak for the other NFC East guys in here, but up until last season, we were used to the Commanders not showing up. So
and let's get started.
This isn't that much different, outside of last season. But so Ben, I went to high school. I grew up in the same neighborhood as you, Ryan, and going back to the early Abington days, and I was born in New York, and I moved to Texas young, and I was kind of a little I didn't want to be a Giants fan like all my cousins, so I was in Dallas and Austin in the 90s, and there was no better thing to be than a Cowboys fan. And I wish someone stopped me, because it's been nothing but pain since I joined the fanhood. So every time I try to quit, they pull me back in with a little bit of hope. So it's unfortunate.
All right.
Brutal.
We got Brian and Adam. Whichever one you guys want to go, and then I'll jump in after you guys.
I'll go next. My name's Brian. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. So grew up doing the Yankees Giants thing, and we've gotten a couple Super Bowls out of it so far. And other than that, it's been a lot of third or fourth place finishes behind either the Eagles or Cowboys through my tenure as a Giants fan. But appreciate you having me on, and look forward to discussion with you guys.
Nice. I'm Adam. I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, right outside the Philly area. So, a couple hours from Long Island. I'm surprised you didn't say Long Island, Brian. I'm a little disappointed with the lack of accent.
I've been down in I actually live in right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina now, but so I don't really have too much of an accent anymore.
Yeah, I'm in Cary, North Carolina. That's how I know Ryan. But I grew up more of a baseball fan when I was a really young kid, and then my parents were trying to keep me away from football, I think, for my own well-being. But once Randall Cunningham got on the scene, I could not ignore that. He was just way too much fun. He even had a little cup of coffee with the Cowboys that, if I recall, wasn't so bad. So, but yeah, Randall was the OG that got me. He was my gateway drug into Philadelphia Eagles football, and obviously it's been nice, been nice of late, which is surprising. I assumed I would die with the Eagles having no Super Bowls. So I know y'all think, oh, it sucks they finally got one, and oh, now they have two, but at least we have more. I mean, but I understand the struggle. I'll put it that way. There was a lot of struggle before that.
Well, I mean, I am, Ben Troupe, co-host of Win the Division, former Tennessee Titan, Tampa Bay Buck, now Oakland Raider, even though they Vegas. Now, you guys don't know struggle. I'm a Falcons fan. Y'all don't know struggle. Don't give me the nonsense. Dallas got Jerry Jones, Jerry World. The Giants had Phil Simms. Now then they went to Eli. Eli was there for 45 years. Then after that, now they've moved on to these new quarterbacks, Dart or Wilson. We'll see if Jameis Winston going to be allowed to play football this year. We will see. As far as the Eagles, man, I mean, my brother is an Eagles fan. I mean, I didn't know this until relatively like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like, what you mean go Birds? I'm thinking, when he's saying go Birds, I'm thinking we dirty birds. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm like, when did this happen? But no, I am looking forward to having you guys on. I think that, when I got drafted, way, eons ago, I was in the Eli Manning draft of 2004. So I've seen, what the Giants can do. Dallas, let me tell you something. There are Dallas Cowboys fans on the moon. That is the biggest. Y'all got the biggest fan base. It's like, I don't know why so many Dallas Cowboy fans. I don't get it. I do get it, but I don't get it. And it's Adam, hey, man, enjoy it. Somewhere Emmitt Smith is pissed off because he's saying, I'm tired of hearing go Birds. Well, get used to it, man, because y'all ain't going nowhere. But I'm looking for a very spirited, passionate discussion about you guys because, like I say, no one hates each other more than the NFC East. I will give you my Eagle story once we get into the podcast because I am from Swainsboro, Georgia, and a lot of my family do not understand the NFC East. My cousin wore my jersey in Eagle Stadium and just say God must have been with him that day because he was going to get all the way – he was going to get the brakes beat off him. And wasn't nothing I could do about it. I didn't know about this until after the game, but I am looking forward to hearing some of you, how you guys love to hate on each other. No one hates each other more than I think NFC East fans. Y'all – it don't matter. I like how you said. I mean, Michael come on talking about it. Yeah, we used to watch it and not showing up except for last year, so it's all good. So hey, man, let's get into it. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'll just start with the first question that I emailed most of you guys. What are you looking forward to going into next year? It could be about your team. It could be about NFL in general. What are you looking forward to in 2025? We'll start there.
Yeah. For me, as a Cowboys fan, it's healthy Dak. When Dak is healthy, he owns the NFC East. The key word being when healthy, but I believe he's 33-8 against the NFC East in his career. I don't remember the last time the Giants beat the Cowboys.
Here we go.
Dak healthy. It's been a while, and so it's the question that's with the Cowboys every season is Dak healthy? And I think this year, what makes it even more exciting is that when Dak has a legit wide receiver too, the offense just goes up a level. And the last few years, Jalen Tolbert, great player, not what you want as a wide receiver too. Kevontae Turpin, stay out of the news, dude. You had one job in the offseason. I really am disappointed that there was a Cowboys arrest before I'm on a podcast to talk about the Cowboys. It's just, of course it happened. But smaller guy, fast guy, not what you want as an every down receiver, great gadget weapon like that. So George Pickens coming in slides everyone down into their right roles, going to open up a lot of stuff for Jake Ferguson across the middle. And, it's tough being a Cowboys fan. So at least if the offense is fun and exciting, it makes it a little easier. Last few years when the offense hasn't been moving and grooving, it's been a tough watch. So I'm really just hoping for healthy Dak, get the offense moving, and then hopefully you can put the Cowboys defense in where it needs to be ahead. Michael Parsons, Donovan Zaviriku, Osa Digizua, just pass rushing the hell out of people. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I think you made up some of those names.
I can't pronounce them as well as I hope. Usually I'm doing nicknames and stuff like I know the players, but figured I should throw in last names today too.
Hey man, that's good. Yeah, I obviously it's like house money. Having won the Super Bowl. It's my birthday weekend. Obviously, Saquon didn't have that great a game because the Chiefs were so keyed on stopping him. But I'm a Penn State guy too, so when Saquon came to the Eagles, that was really cool. And it was his birthday, and it was Cooper DeJean's birthday. And my older daughter, Cooper DeJean's, is already her favorite player. She thinks he's dreamy. So But he's part of it. You know, I'm excited about the youth on defense for the Eagles. You know, the defense in 2023 was abysmal. They just turned into a sieve. You know, was it so Jonathan Gannon had left after the Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, and then they got who's that, Sean Desai, and then like they sort of fired him mid-season and brought in Matt Patricia. It was just so painful in 2023. I'm going to quickly skip ahead so I don't have to answer the question later about what's the worst case scenario. 2023, you know, like start off with all that promise and then just the defense was, the whole thing was putrid. But the youth on defense with Vic Fangio and the established talent that's there, you know, guys who started to step up at the end of the year, like Jalix Hunt, who was a guy they drafted based on traits and started to really do his stuff. And, you know, Cooper is another one, obviously. But really, it's just kind of seeing like, hey, what are the other teams doing to stop, you know, forget the tush push, you know, yeah, obviously, what are they doing to stop that? But in general, the Eagles have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, especially offense. You know, I kind of look forward to, you know, some new rivalries playing up. You know, sorry, Mike, I hate the Cowboys, and I've been to when they were still the Redskins. I've been there, and those fans aren't great either. Kind of a little soft spot in my heart though for the G-Men fans, because, you know, at Penn State there's a lot of people there, and a lot of friends who are G-Men fans, and I even in their most recent Super Bowl win, I actually watched that in Vegas with Giants fan friends. So it was you know, good memory. Plus, it's just been rough, like you said, Brian. So I look forward to hearing what you're looking forward to this year.
Yeah, the one thing for me that stands out is we have a totally new quarterback room. You know, started with the signing of Jameis Winston. We still have DeVito, but I think he's going to end up either practice squad or maybe even on a different team. And then obviously sort of making sure that we didn't have to overspend in a sense on a first round quarterback if we didn't, you know, need to. So getting Russell Wilson and then Jackson Dart. So it's like a whole new room. There's more of a trust in a sense with even Russ starting, whether that over the past 4 or 5 years, it hasn't felt this way. I'm interested to see if we can keep pushing the ball. There's a lot of like 3 and outs that we've had over the past 3 or 4 years, and it's demoralizing just to have the defense just running back on the field. So my trust in Russ, or at least what the direction is higher this year than past seasons. And I'm sort of correlating with that. I'm interested to see, hey, like what type of success does Russ have to have right out of the gate? And how much of a leash does he have before they put Jackson Dart? Because Joe Shane and Brian Dable's jobs are on the line this year. And this might be the final straw for them. They got one more final year. I think a lot of the public especially outside of New York, was like, what are the Giants front office doing? Especially after Hard Knocks last year. not a good showing over the past 12, 24 months. And then the whole quarterback debacle is like, you throw in just someone different every week. It just got a little, it got a little tiring, and I say that really generously. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Russ does. I think he could stretch the ball down the field and use Darius Slayton, where Daniel Jones didn't take advantage of that, and he never looked deep. So I'm hoping that we can use Darius Slayton even a little bit more to pair with Malik Neighbors and turn him into a true superstar.
So, Michael, you telling me when George Pickens first got I want your initial reaction. George Pickens got traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Where was you at? What was you doing? What was your reaction?
I think I was just playing video games and I saw it go through, and it'd been kind of been rumored for a while. And I was following, a Pittsburgh reporter like tweeted the night before something cryptic, more so than the eye emojis. There was more context to it than that. And we had kind of had been the only team linked to Pickens throughout the offseason, so I was kind of getting my hopes up. And yeah, it's nice seeing the front office do something and be a little bit aggressive. It felt like after the playoff loss to the Packers 2 years ago that they were just done with Mike McCarthy. They were done with investing, and we signed one free agent from the outside last season. And they just didn't really seem to want to commit money to basically a lame duck. And, they bring in Brian Schottenheimer, which after that, I was like, I really wish Jerry Jones wasn't the worst GM in Dallas. And then Nico Harrison traded Luka Doncic. So it's the worst monkey paw situation you could ask for. But there's been a lot of optimism with Schottenheimer, some of the culture stuff he wants to implement. They finally went out, made some trades, brought in some free agents. It's kind of what we're used to seeing from Dallas. They had a lot of success with these kind of veteran trades over the last 5 years, getting Brandon Cooks 3 years ago, getting Stephon Gilmore a few years ago. Really worked out. So it's just nice seeing them be aggressive again and having something positive to talk about the team, because last season was rough. It's, Dallas tends to be, a 10-11 win team. And when we're not in that range, it's very depressing. So I was stoked. I think he's going to be, if he keeps his head on right, which is always the big if, but he's in a contract year. So if there's ever a year for him to do it, and we're the Cowboys. We're used to diva wide receivers. I had to go through Keyshawn Johnson straight in to Terrell Owens. And then a few years later, we had Rory Williams, Miles Austin, then Des Bryant. I'm fine with Pickens. It's going to be fine.
Did you hear Pickens bailed on a kid's football camp and Pat Freiermuth had to step in to...
I did see that the company that put on the camp had to issue some sort of apology. I don't remember the exact quote, but there was some miscommunication there. But, it sucks. You don't want that stuff to happen. I think we can all kind of say is like, hey, just don't hurt people, don't drive drunk, and just try not to be a general asshole. And yeah, that wasn't a great look.
I was
just gonna say tight ends are better people than wide receivers.
Yeah, I'm about to say. Of course. Of course. I mean, not the 2 hour horns, but hey, we got tight end you now, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Greg Olsen. But because I'll go into a rant, we get to talk about these tight ends. Even though I love most of you guys tight end, I think Dallas Goedert doesn't get enough love. But gotta go to Brian real quick. I remember this NASCAR package. I see Ura, Justin Tuck, Jason Pierre-Paul, Michael Strahan. Now you got Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. If they can put it together, how dangerous can this D-line be for the G-Man this year?
Well, I think the interesting thing is that when we ran out, OC, Kiwanuka, Strahan, Tuck, like different body types than what we have with Burns, Kayvon, and Abdul. The interesting thing is going to be like, do we throw all of them just on the field at once? Which I hope we do, because I just want the best players on the field. I'm tired of losing. And we got to see what Kayvon can do at this point. I think he's underperformed for his draft value, and it doesn't help that we drafted Evan Neal along with him. And so that whole draft, that first round was didn't turn out the way we expected. But I think Brian Burns, I'm hoping he can turn into a top 10 guy. I think he's top 20 pass rusher in the NFL, but I'm not even confident in saying that. He has to dominate on one-on-ones, especially with a guy like Dexter Lawrence, who's the best D tackle in football. So I'm looking forward to what the pass rush is. This defense better be top 10 or we're not making playoffs.
Adam, we just, I know that Michael Parsons told Michael that Jerry Jones is the best GM in football. I saw he said on his podcast, he said, hey, but he's trying to go through a contract dispute. Howie Roseman is doing this in broad daylight. I don't know what he's doing with the money. I don't know how he's doing it with the money, but he's doing it in broad daylight. You just said it though. Nakobe Dean, what? Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. I mean, you talk about Quinyon Mitchell. How you have this many first, second, and third year guys under rookie deals, and you already winning Super Duper Bowls, man? Like, what's going on in Philly, man? What's the secret sauce, man? What's up?
I mean, Howie's tireless. He might have sold his soul to the devil. I don't, who knows about any of that. But he's not afraid to revamp. He's not too proud because he's not, different than a lot of these GMs who come up through like a sports background and they're like, man's man. Howie's like, I don't care about any of that. I just care about winning. He's with the money. There's a lot of deferred money. We don't know when that's going to come home to roost. If it's going to be like Bobby Bonilla type stuff, we're going to be celebrating. We'll be celebrating Jalen Carter Day in 2075. I don't know. This is the year, by the way, where it's obvious Jalen Carter is better than Dexter Lawrence. Let's just be clear about that. But I shake your head all you want. But Howie.
Brian, you will get to respond.
Howie pairs a high-end University of Florida education with jtenacity and there's no pride in it. So like that's what you see. He starts drafting Jihad Campbell this year, and he got Devontae Smith. I think the Giants wanted him actually, if I recall correctly. They ended up with Kadarius Toney, which is basically the same thing.
Also, the Cowboys got Micah Parsons in that trade too. So two of us did well.
You're gonna spoil it for me. I mean, I'm a Penn State guy, and they're gonna ask which player do you want from another team, and that's the guy, man.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
We'll see, man. But Howie, we're lucky he's on this roll, and as you know, Ben, you've been parts of teams like talent begets talent, man. So when you have good players and you bring in guys with tools, it's much easier for them to learn to be good players than they come into a team that has like a fractured locker room, like not a lot of talent, kind of like the Giants.
I'll say as a Cowboys fan with Howie, I appreciate that he's like, if something doesn't work, he tries again. There's so many GMs that will just like, we signed a guy to a $17 million deal. We're never doing that again. So give him his props for that. He doesn't get gun shy when it doesn't work.
Adam, real quick, when Jalen Carter decides that he can take on Quentin Nelson one-on-one and pick him up and throw him back into the quarterback, then we can have a conversation about who's better.
Okay. All right.
Fine, sir. Reggie White using Chris Carter as a projectile missile back in the day.
That's not fair though. Reggie White did that to everybody but his wife. He used everybody as projectiles, so it's all good. And what you gonna say to Reggie? Like, please, man. As a tight end, I'm happy that guys like Reggie White were no longer playing football by the time I got there, because it's like Little Giants. I clap, get out the hold, I run up to the line. I'm like this, Mr. White. Listen, I don't know because there are certain things, right? The George Kittles of the world got people thinking that everybody's I've never been considered a mauler. I get in the way. Blocking is getting in the way. I'm telling Saquon, back when Ezekiel Elliott was a real football player and played for the Dallas Cowboys, or a guy like Brandon, I would have loved to have blocked for Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs way more than me. I like, Brandon, listen, you are what I wish I could be. I could have played running back. I couldn't have. But I'm saying, dude, listen, hurry up and hit it, dude. I ain't got time. Hey, Ben, I need you to. No, you need me to get in the way. Go through your little steps and come down here, brother. Because if I'm Jimmy Graham, I could have been Jimmy Graham. Put me on the backside. We know I'm not running to the Jimmy Graham side. And Jimmy Graham had a small Hall of Fame career if you look at his catching numbers. But the problem is they watched the whole game. And Jimmy, love Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham is a pilot, people. Jimmy Graham you got a 6'6". It can't nobody fit in the plane, but him like 6'7", but he is a pilot. He can fly. So Jimmy, if you're looking at this, I'm not gonna fly with you, but I love you. But I'm just telling you, this Giants, Eagles, Cowboys. God dang it, Michael. You say you live in Carolina? You live in North Carolina?
No. I'm actually up in Boston now. I've kind of been all over the map. Yeah, but I grew up in North Carolina.
I'm just saying, man. Like, we got Eagles fan. Brian lives. You say you live in Charlotte?
Yes.
Yeah, my son lives in Charlotte, so I'm gonna have, and then Adam lives. So we got a bunch of Giants, Eagles fans living in Carolina. I know people hate Adam. Adam just walk around wearing this. Ain't nobody asked you to wear that jersey, Adam. It's laundry day. It's laundry day every day. You gonna wear this yeah. I want y'all to know what I want y'all to know what a winner looks like. You know what I'm saying? So hey man, I'm just enjoying these conversations because I like how Adam will say, we could say that Jalen Carter is the best D tackle in this division. Sorry, better than Dexter. And Brian was like, dude, no. I'm never gonna admit to that. He was injured last year. We will get to see that. But before we let y'all go to the next question, though, we got to slim down Zach, but we got to slim down Dak. But Dak is also married now. So I'm married. Ain't nothing wrong with being married. And if y'all are married, nothing wrong with it. Just he used to be free.
I can confirm these are all married men. I can confirm.
Okay. So we all married
recently.
This is a family show.
Mike is somewhat recently.
Okay, so this is a family show. We all married. Now he got a kid. Then you got Jalen Hurts, who nobody wants to call elite. I don't know why, but they just don't want to do it. Jalen Hurts got almost as many rushing touchdowns as LaShawn McCoy for a career. And then, we got Jameis Winston, he's Jameis Winston. He's Russell Wilson, Jackson Dart, and we got outside of Jaden Daniels, who's the one-hit wonder. We get it. I mean, no. We get it. He had an incredible year. We had an incredible year. Who is the best quarterback in this division right now?
I mean, I want to say my guy, but like we talked about, the injuries have kind of slowed him down a little bit. So I do think it's Jalen Hurts, but I think when Dak is healthy and he's on his game, there's very few quarterbacks who read the field like he can, and he can kind of maneuver in the pocket. He's not going to, run for 80, 75, 80 yards a game, but he has enough juice that I think he can get there when needed. So it's definitely Jalen Hurts, but I don't think the gap is as big as some people think because, again, it all comes down to health. When Dak is healthy, dude just throws dimes across the field. And again, it just hasn't been the case recently, but fingers crossed.
I want to hear Brian's answer before I say anything.
Let the chef cook.
I think it is Jalen for right now. I think, Michael, you hit on the head. Like Dak is probably the best passer of any of our teams. Jalen's, though, he's in the perfect offense for what his skill set is. He's on the perfect team with the best offensive line. He has the best weapons in the NFC East, and that's even before they got Saquon last year. I still think, I would like to see it if Jalen got stripped down, like if guys were out. I'm not saying I want to see guys injured or anything, but, I would like to see a sample size of what Jalen Hurts would look like at this point. I think it's too early to tell on Jaden Daniels. Even after the CJ Stroud amazing rookie year last year, he went a little bit backwards. And that was hey, some guys got hurt, got it stripped down. Let's see what you turn into. And that Texans offense didn't really look as great. So I don't want to just say Jaden Daniels right off the bat. I think Dak, if he can put up a good year, I think he's worth it. He's probably the best passer, but overall from the quarterback position, I would say Hurts.
Yeah, when your quarterback can squat all of us combined, you're gonna he's a freak. It's just I don't understand how he can do that. So
well, that's so Jalen obviously all the with the recent Super Bowl win, and you can't outwork the guy. That's the other thing. He knows what he is, right? He's 6'1.5". He didn't come in, he knew he wasn't the top pedigree, was never going to be the best passer, but he's working on fixing his release to gain a fraction of a second in it and things like that. The guy's tireless. He's got that, he's a Philly native, Mamba mentality, right? Like Kobe. Now I'm not saying he is to the NFL what Kobe, that's way too far. But yeah, like you said, with that supporting cast, and we have seen some pieces. I think the Saints game last year, they knocked out Devontae. AJ Brown might have missed the Bucks game, and they got kind of trucked by the Bucks. When they don't have their full complement of weapons, it's a different story. But, Jalen appreciates that, a very humble guy. So when you say who the best quarterback is, that's tough, right? In a vacuum, it's hard to say. Like on the team, the best quarterback who's most likely to win the most games and get the best results, yeah, definitely Jalen. But like Dak has the proven experience, has won with lesser talent. Russ is a little over the hill, but he's had his moments. Obviously, we'll see what happens this year. And Daniels, they got the right coaching staff now. They really screwed over RG3. Made him play when he was injured. It's good. He has a good career now, right? So it's not like, don't feel sorry for him. He's doing just fine. But I think he would have had a really good NFL career with the right coaching. And it seems like Jaden has that. So we'll see. I think this time next year, it's going to be a very tricky conversation, especially if Dak stays healthy. We might have 4 players. And the fourth one, I don't even know who it is, Brian. Maybe Dart. maybe this is the year Jameis finally puts it together, bro. I mean, when they signed him, I was so excited. I'm like, fantasy, baby. I'm going to get Jameis in my Super team.
Jameis neighbor bombs Wilson, all day.
Then they signed Wilson and ruined it. And then they signed – I'm like, no fun. Because Jameis is an elite fantasy stat grabber, man. It's so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Neighbors would be putting up 150 receptions with James. Yeah.
I think he'd be getting like 200 if he was catching bombs from Jameis.
Yeah, I had Jerry Jeudy in fantasy last year down that stretch when Jameis was playing, and it was good.
Can I pose a real quick question? Sort of it goes back to the question that we just had, but it's worded a little bit different. Who do you guys trust the most in a 2 to 3 minute offense to get down the field and score a touchdown? And Ryan and Ben, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, 2 to 3. Last 2 to 3.
Am I picking between your quarterbacks, the 4 quarterbacks? Is that your question?
Yeah, last 2 to 3 minutes of the game, you need to score a touchdown. Who's marching down the field with the most confidence for you?
Ooh.
Probably.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Probably Jaden or Jalen. I'll say okay. So Commanders guy, we talked. There was a power outage up in the DC area due to some of the storms that came through North Carolina. So that's legitimately why he's not here. So just giving the Commanders fan his due there. So yeah, I would say probably Jalen or Jaden. I mean, you can't deny what Jaden did last year as a rookie. We'll see kind of I do expect some regression from Jaden this year. But we'll see if that happens as a whole. But if I can only pick one, Brian, I'll go with Jalen right now because it's the Super Bowl. He did it right now against Patrick Mahomes. He trucked him in the Super Bowl. Like when he had to, he rolled through the playoffs. Right now, I'll say Jalen Hurts, but I don't think it's as far of a gap as I was expecting. But as of now, I'll say Jalen.
Ooh. I would probably go Jaden Daniels for this reason. I think he is at his best when he is in those situations. Like when you got to have it. Jalen can do anything because he has everything. Like he can. I mean, who gonna stop AJ Brown? Who gonna stop? But I think Jaden Daniels, when you in those type of not to give my Falcons any credit, but if y'all saw Falcons versus, Commanders last year, yeah, we could have won the game. I gotta let that go. I'm past it. Jaden Daniels is built to make crazy throws in the end. I don't know how he's able to do it. He's been doing it since LSU. Like this kid, not to call him a kid, it's like, when do you need it? I don't know. Terry Scary McLaurin, this dude, he turns into Megatron. Like you can't stop him in 2 to 3 minutes. And I think that's what makes Jaden. It's like he is used to hero ball. Now that's not going to make it in the NFL over the long haul, but just for a sample size, if you got to have it, he's too young to really care about the situation. Adam talked about playing with house money. What they gonna tell Jada? Don't throw it. Don't do that. He's too young. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I trust Jalen, but Jaden gonna do it, man. Like, he's willing to. Jalen ain't gonna make a mistake. I'm not gonna throw it in the cup. Jaden will. Jalen, I'm finna let it fly. What if we lose? We the freaking Commanders. You know what I'm saying? But if we win, people are like, oh my God. So I'll say Jaden Daniels because right now he think the NFL is easy because of his first year. Oh, I got this. Oh, yeah, but they got a whole year of tape on you, youngin. We're going to see this year. But I trust Jalen the most, but I think Jaden Daniels, if I got to have it, oh, man, don't get your popcorn ready like T.O. used to say. This kid, he finna give you something to see. He going to give you something to see.
I think one thing that benefits Jalen and Jaden and eventually Jackson Dart is the mobility. You know, when you're in those 2-minute drives, being able to escape the pocket and pick up that 5-yard first down and get out of bounds, that's super, super helpful. And I was just looking up Dak's like fourth quarter comebacks, game-winning drives over his career, and he has more when he was younger. Before his ankle injury in 2020, he had 15 since his rookie year in 2016. And if you kind of watch him post the ankle fracture and before, it's just a different caliber of athlete. So I do think that the mobility is super important. I trust Dak to make the right reads, but it's hard for him to pick up those kind of easy yards when the middle of the field is wide open. And yeah, I'm jealous of those super athletic quarterbacks. I think when we first started watching football, Ryan, there was like one. It was like Michael Vick.
One. Yeah, Michael Vick was
Cunningham a few years before.
My Panthers for years and years.
Yeah.
And years.
Yeah. So we are blessed with two extremely mobile quarterbacks, and Jackson Dart, he's got legs too when he finally gets the chance.
And you remember, I think Ben's on it because remember the last Eagles loss was to the Commanders with a 2-minute drill. And Daniels, I think, turned the ball over 4 or 5 times in that game. He didn't care. He came right back down the field and won it. Like that short memory, that,
Goldfish.
that sort of thing. And he is, I will say, like, I was grateful that we just stomped them in that NFC Championship game because if it was close, I would have been really nervous.
That was the worst day ever, by the way. I rooted for a meteorite that never came.
Well, I'm sorry about that. But you did bring up Michael Vick, which, Brian, I don't know if you remember the miracle at the new. Never mind. Let's not do that.
Brian, answer your question so we can keep it moving here. I know we only have you guys for a certain period of time.
Yeah, I'll stick with Jalen. I think it's just it's an interesting topic just because Dak is like the others. He relies on his arm a little bit more. I think he's the best passer, but and Michael, I think like with your guys' offensive line wasn't as good as it was when Dak was a rookie too. So, but yeah,
it's been a little bit of a rebuild on the O-line. Feeling pretty good though, but yeah, it's definitely been not the great wall we're used to.
Right.
Well, before we get into kind of the last few segments regarding the division directly and kind of previewing this, and I'll kind of ask some back and forth from you guys. Adam kind of gave us his answer already. So I'm going to ask you the two of the questions I emailed already. Player within your division you wish was on your team. And then what is a non kind of star player on your team who you think is going to take that next step this year?
Yeah, it would have been easy to pick Neighbors or Daniels or Barkley, all the studs. I want to go a little deeper here. And the guy I would want, he was on the Cowboys previously before Dan Quinn raided our entire defensive front. But it would be Dorrance Armstrong. Was kind of our number 3 pass rusher for us, but he played special teams. He could come in sub packages. He could spot start. They've used him as a gunner in the preseason just to see if he could do it. And like, this guy's a full-time defensive end. Just really versatile player. One of those glue guys that I think every team needs. And he's on a pretty reasonable contract. I think it's like $8 million a year. And we definitely missed him last year. We just didn't have that oomph with our second tier pass rushers. So yeah, would love to have him back. I think we have a couple guys who could fill that type of role. And, obviously Malik Neighbors would be awesome, but I wanted to go a different route. And in kind of terms of, you brought up the Cowboys offensive line. I think the success of the Cowboys season, other than Dak's health, is going to come down to whether or not Tyler Guyton can take a step. He was our first round pick last year, end of the first round. Physical freak, dude. Like, he does not look like an offensive lineman. That dude is shredded. And, one of the keys to the Cowboys offensive line success over like the last decade is Duke Manyweather. It's like offensive line coach has his kind of headquarters in Dallas, and with the CBA limiting how often you can work with players with the coaching staff throughout the season, Dallas just sends all their O-line there. He may help develop Tyler Smith into an All-Pro, helped get Terrence Steele going when he was an undrafted rookie. And when you look at the Dallas line, you have Tyler Smith, left guard, All-Pro. Connor Beebe was a third-round pick last year. He came really strong at the end, pretty strong dude. Devin Booker, not Devin Booker, wrong sport. Tyler Booker, a lot of Tylers on the Cowboys line. At right guard, filling in, like, just if you could build a guard in laboratory, it would be Tyler Booker. So really, if Tyler Guyton can get it together, and from everything we've heard from Duke over his offseason training, he's transformed his body, he's worked on his footstep, he's trying to get his jabs timed right, it really would be transformative for Dallas. So I think he can. I really hope he can.
Before Adam or Brian chimes in, I will say, speaking of Duke Manyweather, I shouted out on the South Florida Tribune podcast when I went on there. Ben was on there with me. We were talking about the 5 underrated players in the NFL's like top 100. And I said Lane Johnson for the Eagles because he and Duke Manyweather have that offensive line camp together. And Lane Johnson just is such a good player that doesn't get talked about enough because he plays offensive line. Let's just be honest. But so I just wanted to say that because you mentioned Duke Manyweather. He and Lane Johnson had that offensive line clinic that they do, and they do a good job, such as and I know there's like the tight end use that Olsen, Kelsey, and Kittle do as well. But
if you want to learn more.
You'd mentioned like what Jalen Hurts is like without certain key players. And like you look at the Eagles record with and without Lane Johnson over the course of Lane Johnson's career, and it's shocking. Like they are way better with Lane Johnson. But, I think you mentioned like the Cowboys have a good offensive line coach. The Eagles do have the best one in the NFL, I think, with Jeff Stoutland. I mean, he survived. He was Chip Kelly's, man. Stoutland's view is this insane thing. So I already said Micah, just obvious as a Penn State guy, and Micah is just when he's on, I'll throw Brian a bone here. In my opinion, the best defensive player in the history of the NFL is Lawrence Taylor. Period. End of story. Reggie White, so freaking good, and it's hard to compare because they're different skill sets and whatever. But man, LT was the guy that the whole offense had to worry about. You never knew what he was going to do. Even his own coaches didn't know what he was going to do. And Micah can be that guy on a good day. I'm not saying Micah is NLT's level, but he's the same type of player.
It's funny. I hated the Micah pick because they were going to play him as an off-ball linebacker. I'm like, why are you taking an off-ball linebacker this high? Then Tank Lawrence broke his ankle, and you realize, oh, we have a monster here. I've never been more wrong about a draft pick, and now I don't analyze drafts anymore because I'm always wrong.
It shows what we know. Yeah, I mean, I tried to talk myself in. I'm like, oh yeah, Jalen Reagor, he's like the 1A we need. Jefferson's just a slot guy. So I mean, we talk ourselves into and out of the dumbest stuff. But as far as like a guy on the Eagles who it'd be fun to see if they step up. Jokingly, Ryan, I was gonna say Terrace Marshall because he's now on the Eagles roster, but.
That's his 5th team in 2 seasons or something?
I don't believe –
Is he a tight end now?
I don't know, man. I mean –
that was Kelvin Benjamin back in the day with the former Panthers receiver, and now then tight end. Come on now.
I would like to see a third wide receiver step up, but I don't know if that guy's currently on the roster. But the guy I really think they need to step up this year, and the signings kind of show it, is Keely Ringo, who's a cornerback they drafted out of Georgia. He was like a 4th-round pick. I think the same year they took Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith in the 1st round. They then took Ringo, and he was younger, so it was like he was definitely a guy who they knew they would have to develop. But now with Quinyon and Cooper and the safeties, obviously they did trade away Gardner Johnson again, which I don't know. He must just be a polarizing guy. It's like I don't think that was necessarily great, but Ringo is the guy who I think you'll see, because they like Cooper in more of a nickel role, right? So you're going to have to see someone step up. It's probably not going to be a Dory Jackson, even though they signed him too. I think Brian knows it's probably not going to be a Dory Jackson. Hey, if it is, great. I just need someone to step, but I think it's going to be Ringo.
the player I want on the Giants, we got to fix our offensive line. And Ryan, you stole my thunder. I was going to go with Lane Johnson. The main issue, though, is that Andrew Thomas also has to stay healthy, because if he's not on board, then if he's not on the field, none of this works. But Lane Johnson, what he does at 35 years old, he's still an elite right tackle, probably one of the top 1 or 2 in the NFL, I would say still. It does a lot of things for us where we would be able to push Jermaine Illuminor into right guard and fix our Greg Van Roten experiment.
Another former Panther, Shade. Okay.
It's like a really bad Band-Aid, like that just doesn't stick to you. Like they just try to do it. And
he's not good. You're right.
And then we try to just add other players in free agency this year, and Greg Van Roten's probably going to start at right guard. So Lane Johnson, what he can do just to do what Evan Neal is supposed to do, that never happened, and just give our guys, whoever quarterback it is, some time to throw the dang ball, and have a good running game with Tracy and Cam. And so I'm going Lane Johnson with my guy.
So, but Ben, before I kind of go into the divisional preview here as we kind of close things out, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, I was going to say, I mean, just listening to, number one, to address Adam, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson went to the Super Bowl the first time he was there, right? Then he go to Detroit, he comes back. Then he started talking trash. I'm like, Chauncey! Gotta love Chauncey because he went to Florida, I went to Florida. But Nick Sirianni has said this, look, dude, we ain't doing that because real good teams, great teams, they don't need but one. I mean, you know you're a good team when your star wide receiver is reading. I don't know if he was reading Dr. Seuss on the sideline. I don't care what he was reading. He's the first football player to do three things. One, that is not his real car. I don't care that is not what he drives. I'm so sick of this. Oh, he drives an Acura like me. That is not A.J. Brown real car. I don't care what no one. I believe A.J. Brown drive that when Shaq was doing Oldsmobile commercial and LeBron was doing Kias, they were not driving Kias and Oldsmobile. They was getting a lot of money. Anyway, another thing A.J. Brown did, A.J. Brown took memorabilia to the next level. He got mannequins. He got a room with mannequins in it, full-size mannequins with all his jerseys on it. Asked my wife if I could do it. She already said no. My wife said no, you're not doing that. She said you wanted to see the mannequins go to Dick's. I said, cool. I'm not going to be able to get that in my house. A third thing, though, when you start talking about your Eagles, man, and Chauncey, is Darius Slay and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson were built to be Eagles, right? I know that Darius kind of knew his time was coming when you see what's going on with these young corners. But Chauncey, man, like, listen, word to the wise. If you're on a Super Bowl team, you don't provide any type of bulletin board material. You know how you know Chauncey Gardner is pissed that he's no longer Eagle? He won't stop tweeting about it. He won't stop saying stuff about being with the Eagles. You know why? The only thing he got no sales tax because he's in Houston. Problem is, he's in Houston. Now, they're going to win the AFC South because it's the AFC South. But, dude, they said, dude, you ain't want to be no Eagle? Yeah, dude, I don't know how to be quiet, man. They gave me a long-term deal. The Eagles let him really play. They really let him play safety. He was playing like a nickelback when he was down there in New Orleans. Come to the Eagles, 6 picks the first time, 6 picks the second time, talking too much the first time, talking way too much the second time. Now you get to go to Houston. I would have loved to listen. If Chauncey Gardner-Johnson played for the Dallas Cowboys, it would make me. I couldn't stand him even more. But he is built to be a Cowboy. Just talking, him and Michael Parsons had the best podcast outside of winning the division out there. I mean, and
sounds like he's a lucky charm. I'll take him.
No, I'm just saying. And Brian,
I want a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying. And Brian, you hit it on the head. Evan Neal is the direct opposite of Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson is so good that it's boring to watch him play football because nothing happens on the right side. And Evan Neal, it's about as exciting for the wrong reasons. Like I'm like, what? It's almost like did Evan Neal play at Alabama? Yeah. Alabama's not even allowed to have O-linemen like that. Like, what? So I don't know what's going to happen with Evan Neal, but you pay a guy that much money to go that high. And him and Kayvon Thibodeau, they're going to have to keep one. It's probably going to be Kayvon if he have a good year this year. I was at Florida State when Kayvon Thibodeau was coming out. And I thought I was a big recruit when I came out. Kayvon Thibodeau was like the freaking governor. He was out there by himself. I'm a fully grown man, paying taxes, kids. And I'm taking pictures with this kid. He'll know who I am. I'm like, he had this. And then when all the recruits came out, he left. All right, you go back in, Kayvon. You don't get these mere mortal recruits. You go back in, you stand. And obviously, Michael, look, let me tell you something. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Dak. If Dallas cannot stop the run, it is going to be a long year because I'm like, dude, teams they're gonna throw at you. They're gonna say, let's hand it off. And I love Trayvon Diggs. I love Trayvon Diggs. But Trayvon Diggs' best year in the NFL, he gave up the most yards too. He was the best cornerback and the worst cornerback within one. I've never seen that happen. But man, it
was magical. It was a magical stretch.
It was. Yeah, who doing Hard Knocks this year? They ain't doing the NFC East, right? They doing the AFC North. They're doing the AFC North.
Is NFC East end season Hard Knocks?
Is it Buffalo? I thought I heard it was Buffalo.
No. What they do now, they do a team and they'll do a division too.
Yeah,
they'll do both.
I think the NFC East is the division. I think we're the
okay. So we'll get a chance to see.
North, but
it's the Buffalo Bills and NFC East. Y'all nailed it.
Okay. So we'll get to see Jerry Jones put a whole.
It's gonna be fun, man.
Jerry Jones I saw Jerry Jones eat everybody saw him eat the sausage biscuit. He put like a whole thing of salt on there. Jerry Jones is never gonna die, people. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. Jerry Jones gonna live longer than all of us on this panel. Jerry Jones is gonna be the first 200-year-old person. I guarantee it. And then only then he might let his great grandson run the team. But no, he gonna sell it. And his dying wish is to sell the Cowboys.
It's like salt doesn't impact old white guys. Like he rolls up to training camp with like 4 McGriddles every morning. I'm like I eat one of those and I have heartburn for 2 days. Like
I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah.
Pass the salt.
Right.
When the last pass the salt? Pass the salt. You really need the salt, dude? Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
89 years old. Does he really go to the doctor? The doctor say, man, what your diet look like? He's like, look at me. Look at me.
No, Jerry cuts his salt with a freaking credit card. Like, just be real.
All right. Oh my gosh. All right. So the last question I'll include with the worst and best case scenario. I'll kind of combine that all in one. So let me just kind of briefly give you I jotted this down. This is where I told you I was not going to prepare you for this. This is my version, and I'm giving you all the chance to respond. But the Commander, we'll do them first because the other Brian is not here. So I'm going to do the Commanders first, as if he was here, and you guys tell me if this is fair. FanDuel for the Commanders has them at 9.5 wins. So here's my questions. Can the Commanders defense keep up? That's my question for them this year. Can they continue to keep up? Their offense we know is going to be fine. Can their defense keep up? I'm watching the cornerback position for the Commanders. A.J. Brown in a division with CeeDee Lamb and the Lake Neighbors. That's essentially why I'm watching that corner position. For the Commanders, my breakout player is Brian Robinson Jr. Had him on my fantasy team last year. Loved him. I think he's going to take that next step this year for the Commanders. And will they be better than 2024? Yes, but with a caveat. I don't think they're going to the NFC Championship game again. So that's where the regression is going to happen. But I do think Daniels is going to take that next step. And I think the offensive line is going to be a little bit more protecting him to show why he's still that elite quarterback or can be the elite quarterback in this league. So that's kind of like my preview as a whole for the Commanders and questions. Thoughts on that before I move to y'all's teams?
Well, having Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys for a few years, he's one of those coordinators that if the talent isn't quite elite, he can still make it work. So I'm actually not that worried because Dan Quinn can churn out a pass rush with you and me rushing off the weak side. Like I'm actually more concerned about outside of Terry McLaurin. I don't think Debo has much left. I just watched him last year and he just didn't look like he had the gas anymore. Then there was that clip a few weeks ago of him looking like he had weights in his shoes.
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to if he still has it, if he can still kind of do, that catch the ball 3 yards off the line of scrimmage and just yak out the ass, that will change a lot for them. But I kind of agree with you. I think they'll still be good. but they're also playing a harder schedule, having, they've been a bottom 3-4 in the division for the last few years, and they're going up in competition. We always see this with, some rookie quarterbacks. The tape is out there. We have more time to adjust in the offseason. I'm sure the Cowboys, Eberflus has been kind of watching Jaden Daniels tape all offseason, trying to figure out a way to stop him. So, I think they could be solid, but I just don't think they'll reach the same heights as last year, but they could still technically be a better team, if that makes sense, with kind of development and more experience for Jaden. Yeah.
At least Eberflus isn't in charge of calling timeouts.
Thank Christ.
Exactly.
No, Ryan,
Yeah.
I think what Ben said earlier, like the year 2 is such a who knows, right? Jaden Daniels could take that next step slightly. He could bolt himself into one of the best, or he could kind of peter off or worse, right? So really, I think the skin, I still want to call them the Skins. They'll go as that goes. I was kind of curious. I know you're limited on time, so you don't want to get into it too much. Like, what did you really see in Brian Robinson's game that makes you think like to me, I just see he's all right. Like nothing special about that guy. I don't know. So what is it that you see that I don't see at all?
Okay, like Mike was saying about Dak, his health obviously was standing because he has had some injuries as well. So I have to throw that caveat in there. But I think actually goes back to what Dan Quinn said earlier this offseason. He's had a sense of urgency about him. He's had a really good offseason, and he thinks he's going to be a guy that could break out for them this year and be even better than he was last year. And I don't think Dan Quinn would just say that unless he meant it. I think he shoots it straight, like Mike likes to say.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm going to keep going now, and then we'll.
Hey, Ryan, real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
It's all right. I think one thing we didn't touch on was their offensive line. They added both their bookends with Laremy Tunsil and Josh Carlin in the draft.
Yep.
Michael, you said Jalen Tolbert was great earlier in this segment. They actually got the true number 2 great Dallas wide receiver in Michael Gallup. So,
oh baby, I love me some Michael Gallup. Love me some Michael Gallup.
Luke McCaffrey, watch out for Luke. Just telling y'all, watch out for Luke McCaffrey. Out there in DC. I'm just telling you, just watch. He's a McCaffrey. He's bound to break out. He's bound to break out sooner or later, right? The man went to Rice. Come on. Give him some credit.
They but here's some stats from last year's Washington team, and they're going to have a natural regression, right? Just because they overperformed. They had a really easy schedule. They actually went 8-1 in 7-point games, and then they actually went 4-1 in 3 or fewer point games. So, I mean, it's sort of like when you look at the playoffs every year. There's out of the 14, playoff teams that get in, there's usually about 5 to 7 new teams every year. Washington was one of them last year. I don't know if they repeat that this year.
Yeah, and I'm purposely leaving out stats for the sake of time, and also just trying to keep it just brief as possible as I do this. Okay. Eagles, FanDuel's total is 11.5 wins. My question for the Eagles, can Saquon Barkley do that again? AKA, can he do what he did with the running game? I mean, 436 carries in 20 games last year. I mean, absolutely phenomenal for him. My position to watch is the secondary. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Could they be even better as sophomores? That is scary for the rest of the league if they can be even better as sophomores. So my position to watch is the secondary. Avon Maddox is another player in that Eagles secondary who I think is going to take a bigger step and play a bigger role as well. And by the way, Brian, Brooks Kubina is another one, a guy that I'm watching there on the Eagles rookies. All right. My breakout player for the Eagles, and I'm sorry, Brian, or I'm sorry, Adam, I'm going to butcher this guy. Milton Williams is now a Patriot. So Moro Ojomo, thank you. I think the Nigerian-born guy is going to get his success this year. He's going to break out for the Eagles and have a strong 2025, building off that 2024 campaign that he had. He had, I believe it was like 31 pressures total last year, 4th on the team. I want to say something like that. Anyway, and then in better than 2024, no, because I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl again. But that's okay because, like you said, the Eagles got their Super Bowl. They delivered this last year. like you said, it's kind of the house money, like you said, Adam. So I think they will maintain the consistency as a whole. But the schedule is a lot harder, and I still think they're going to make the playoffs. Obviously, I just don't think they're going to fully go win the Super Bowl again.
I'll wait to hear what Mike and Brian have to say.
To touch on your Saquon Barkley comment, I don't think he has to do that if you kind of have that drop off that we've seen from running backs when they hit a certain age. He wasn't, the epitome of health before he signed with the Eagles. I kind of, for his sake, hope they don't rush him that much, and that a viable change of pace or number 2 or even co-monster, there could be something, because you just don't want to overdo it. I remember the Eagles signed away DeMarco Murray after his Offensive Player of the Year season in 2014. Dallas knew they weren't re-signing him. They rushed. I think he had over 250 carries, 1,900 yards, and he was basically never that back again. I do think Saquon is a much better caliber back and caliber athlete, but for his sake and, for the Eagles offense, I hope they can not do that again. If they need to, I'm sure he can, but you just always worry about the wear down and the carries.
Brian doesn't want to talk about Saquon.
Yeah, well, yeah. I still stick with how we handled the Saquon deal.
Right.
He had a great season last year for you guys. He wasn't doing it in New York, so you can't just replace what he did with you guys and pretend that would have been the same for us. I don't see how you guys don't win the division. You guys are the most complete. You guys are probably the most complete team in the NFC, and the NFC is the weaker of the two conferences by a mile. I don't know. Let's see if Jalen Hurts can. I think the main thing is, and Ben, you sort of alluded to it, is he elite? It's always the question, because it always seems like Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar are the 4 that people talk about, and they never want to put Jalen in that realm. I think if he can lock up another Super Bowl, I don't think it's a question about him being in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, with the Barkley stuff, Ryan and I actually, he teased this to me over breakfast a few weeks ago, but yeah, he can't, like Mike said, he can't have that many carries again. And like Brian said, added Barkley to the best offensive line and a team that was, had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. That was the icing on the cake, so to speak. So it's really just, obviously, I guess this technically is sports media, but the way that the Hard Knocks and Mara saying he's going to lose sleep, but my best Giants fan friends are none of them are man, I'm so pissed we lost Saquon. I mean, they didn't. Yeah, most of them are happy for him because he was good for the Giants and he was, good for the locker room, and he's a good dude. But yeah, I think, they signed AJ Dillon to take some of that banging. I think that'll take some of it off of Hurts too, if Dillon's at all healthy, right? Short yardage, maybe you don't do the tush push, all the time and put your Super Bowl MVP quarterback in the bottom of a pile. Will Shipley is a guy I considered mentioning on, an up and comer and, instead of Ringo, but, a guy who can catch some passes out of the backfield, has some juice. He's also doing the squats. He's not quite at Saquon level, but I think he's around Hurts level actually on the squats. And, you mentioned Ojomo, but, they also drafted this Ty Robinson guy. Everyone loves him. So, the Eagles are reloading. But I think the over-under is fair, right? Because 2023, I'm telling you, that can happen to any team. It just starts to go wrong, and you start questioning yourself, and you lose that edge. And even the most talented teams, they turn on each other. So really, that's a worst case scenario. Best case scenario, Mercury Morris has to rot in his grave and about he can't pop champagne anymore because the Eagles finally did that. I mean, everything goes right. They're certainly one of the few teams in the NFL that could be really, really elite this year. But yeah, I agree. You got it. There's a lot of luck that goes into actually making and winning the Super Bowl. I sure hope they can do it again. And but my wife's a Bills fan. I don't know. She may end up on a future divisional thing here.
She will. I can confirm she will be on. Yes.
Oh, there we go. And you know, I wouldn't like. I would love to see her happy. If the Eagles can't win it, you know, let's see, you know, let's circle the wagons and go Bills. But
you don't mean that. You don't, Adam. You don't mean that one bit. You don't mean Adam's wife can somewhere listen, and he don't mean that one. Listen, my wife is a Saints fan. Do you know how crazy that is? I'm a Falcons fan, and
I did not even know this. Oh my goodness.
Listen, she's an Aints fan, and we you know, every year we go to see the Falcons and the Aints, and we got club seats. I'm like, where you get club seats from? Like, where you get these type of seats from? Anyway, Adam don't want Buffalo. Buffalo is Josh Allen is the only second team All-Pro that will ever win the MVP. That'll never happen again. He's the first quarterback to be second team All-Pro and win MVP. You know who else been the second team All-Pro? Jalen Hurts been the second team All-Pro. He didn't even get MVP consideration when he was second team. All I'm saying is, people, I'm not saying the NFL is rigged, because if it was rigged, the guy with the mohawk out there in Kansas City would have hoisted up 3 in a row. It's not rigged. It ain't right either. Because like I said, you know, is Josh Allen's wife a great actress in Sinners? Just found out that was his wife. She did an incredible job. Your husband did not win MVP last year. I don't care. How does Lamar Jackson have better numbers in 2024 than he did in 2023, and he don't win it? Anyway, that's another show for another day.
I got the perfect answer for you. You remember a year or two ago when Joel Embiid won the NBA MVP over Nikola? Yeah, same exact thing. They're like, yeah, he's for the body of work, you know. And by the way, Allen had those foul plays, you know. Trust me, as a Josh Allen fantasy owner, it was cool when he both threw and caught a touchdown on the same play.
Yes.
I won a matchup because of that.
And one of my employees was at that game as a big Bills fan. It was the snow game, you know. Like Lamar Jackson didn't have the snow game highlight reels this year, and like you said, it just becomes old hat. Lamar Jackson did it again, man. Whatever. We're not going to give it to him again, are we? You know.
No. I get it. It's easy to say Lamar Jackson. He didn't want to win MVP. Let me tell y'all something. I love Lamar Jackson. What else is he going to win at this point in his career? If he ain't winning regular season MVPs, what is he winning? And I love Lamar. Like people going, like, how do people say, hey, Lamar, who was at the NFL honors, didn't want to, he did not go there to show off his outfit. That would be Cam Newton. That is not Lamar Jackson. He went there to win the freaking MVP. Think about this, Michael. If Dak is up for the MVP and they say, oh, he don't really want to win it, you will be like, what? You want to win? Think about it. Cam Newton is going to get into the Cam Newton won MVP. Matt Ryan won MVP, right? You trying to tell me a second team All-Pro? I wasn't even the best quarterback in football. How about anyway? I get it. Listen. People say, hey man, Josh Allen got 65 career rushing touchdowns. 65. Jalen Hurts got 55. I'm telling y'all, people just don't like Jalen Hurts. They just don't. Hey Jalen, not that you. I know you watch Win the Division. I know you be at tweeting us, even though you don't. You're gonna start doing it. The very first game we got Eagles, Cowboys. Tush push all the way down the field. Just do it. Just do it. Why not? I mean, I'm there for it.
Go ahead, Brian. Before I move on to the next game, go ahead. Really quick. Go ahead.
Adam, this is a question for you. I think Tyler Steen is probably the worst on your offensive line and probably the one guy that's replaceable.
Yeah.
Can Kenyon Green beat him out?
I think almost anyone can. You know, like I don't. You know, I guess I just haven't seen the tools from Steen. Who did you say? I mean, we should just trade him to the Cowboys so they get another Tyler, right?
That's right. We're going for it.
The all Tyler offensive line would be something. Yeah, I just haven't seen him like last year we plugged in Becton right out of nowhere, and everyone knew he had the tools. The guy's a freaking beast, you know. And so Stotley plug him in at guard, and he's awesome, right? Stoutland just made it work. So I think he can definitely win it. I just don't know. I would guess all I would say is if I'm betting Steen against the field, I'm taking the field on the starting OL.
Yeah. DJ Fluker.
Nothing against him. I just think he's like a swing guy. He's not a starter.
Yeah. Becton was like DJ Fluker back in the day with the Chargers. Like, you just stuck the mammoth in right guard and let him do work. But
yeah. All right. Last two teams here, Cowboys, Giants, and then I'll kind of close it out, and we'll get some predictions from you guys. And anything else you guys want to talk about as you go out the door too that we didn't hit on? Ask me, ask Ben, ask each other questions that you're dying to answer from a fellow fan. Like I said, as we go out the door. All right, Cowboys, 7.5 over/under from FanDuel. Key question from me: what can rookie head coach Brian Schottenheimer do with this offense? Because let's be honest, Mike, I'm sorry. The Cowboys have been uninspiring. Appropriate term for Dallas the last 5 years. It's been 5 years since Schottenheimer was really a full-time play caller as well. So, but like you said, healthy Dak Prescott, reliable CeeDee Lamb, deep threat of George Pickens, and then Jake Ferguson, who's very underrated at tight end, gives him a strong passing game. But my position to watch, that gives me the running back position as my position to watch. All Dallas had to do, Mike, was sign Derrick Henry last year. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. And they didn't do it. But anyway, but now you have Miles Sanders from Carolina. You're welcome. He'll be fitting just nicely in there. Adam knows a thing or two about Miles Sanders. Javonte Williams and then Jaden Blue as well. So that is a committee at running back. That's my position to watch. My breakout player is someone I already said, Jake Ferguson. I mean, I had him on my fantasy team 3 years ago. He was wonderful. He is amazing. Now, he's not George Kittle, guys. I know that. But, like, he's not Travis Kelce. But I think he's going to show himself to be a pretty good player this year in the league. And then better than 2024 from a record standpoint, my answer is maybe. A healthier roster, sure. Can the running back position do something? I think, Adam, you mentioned Matt Eberflus earlier. The defense can be a strength, but even if everything goes right, at the end of the day, Mike, the Cowboys still need the running game at the end of the day.
Yeah, so let me touch on the running game real quick. My prediction is the Cowboys' leading rusher is not on the team yet. We've seen them be aggressive in trades this offseason, not just with George Pickens, but they made like 4 trades in the opening hours of free agency. I think they're going to keep an eye on it. We've been linked to some other backs throughout the season. One thing that gives me a little hope is that their new offensive coordinator, Clayton Adams, came from the Arizona Cardinals. And I don't know how they managed to make James Conner this awesome running back year after year after year. But from, the Schottenheimer hire was a little uninspiring. Probably more bad process than a bad choice. A lot of people you hear around the Cowboys or in the media, they kind of say like he'll probably be a better head coach than he was as a play caller coordinator. And he's been kind of hitting all the right beats, in terms of talking about the right players they want to bring in, how they want to move people around on the offense, get some motion in there. We've had a very old school type of offense with Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett. I don't know if Schottenheimer can change his stripes in one off season, but the offensive staff has been inspiring in terms of the hires that they've brought in. In terms of, I mentioned, I think they're going to get a new running back, but I do think they have a lot of intriguing pieces at the running back position. Jaden Blue from Texas is one of the fastest running backs I've seen. Was really excited when they drafted him. And then, no one really knew who Rico Dowdle was last year, but now he's backing up Chuba in Carolina. And once they decided, hey, let's give him the ball and, really punish teams and kind of set Zeke out to pasture, the offense started to look much better. And I think Javonte Williams is another year removed from his ACL injury. I don't like Miles Sanders. I don't think he's going to do much for us. But I think they can get a serviceable running game with those guys. And another, you mentioned Will Shipley, Clemson guy with you, Philly. The Dallas drafted Phil Maffa in the 7th round, who his player comp, when I was reading some draft guides, was James Conner. So kind of putting him into this kind of system gives me a little hope. And, it's we won't really know until we see all this coach speak from Brian Schottenheimer if it translates. If it translates and everything kind of goes as they're saying they want it to go, I could see us winning 11, 12 games. If it doesn't, I could see us winning 5. And a NFC East team hasn't won this division back to back since 2004. I was 14. Like, it's been a long time. So I don't know with this division because it's never predictable. You think it's going to be good, ends up not being good, and you think is bad ends up being good. So it's one of the wackiest divisions in football.
For me, when I think of Dallas, I think of when you guys just ran the heck out of the ball, and I know you guys just got Pickens, but I'm really interested what the interior of your line can do, because I think it's actually pretty underrated. If Tyler Booker's a mammoth, dude's huge. I think it was sort of shocking that they went that route. I thought, when I would think of Jerry Jones, it's like, how sexy can we get with this thing? I think of back when you guys, we're going to draft Johnny Manziel, and then whatever his son-in-law was like, no, let's take this guy Zach Martin instead. And good thing that panned out the way it did. Mm-hmm. So I'm really looking at that like interior of your offensive line. I think you guys have to go back to just controlling the clock with the run game, and then just hit stuff with Lamb and Pickens. And like Ferguson, I don't think he's amazing like Ryan said, but I mean, and he doesn't have to be amazing. That's the thing about Ferguson. He's just like, okay, third guy, but like Pickens and Lamb, they sort of got to be like Fitzgerald and Bolden back in the day.
And for all my breakout players, I'm trying to not go obvious here, guys. I'm trying to get under the radar a little bit.
I mean, I just, everyone says running backs don't matter. And when we're talking about the Cowboys this year, all Mike cares about is a running back that isn't even on his team yet, apparently. But honestly, I'm not worried about the Cowboys running game. Poor Miles Sanders, right? Like, he's already like the second best Eagles running back to wear number 26 in the last 4 years, right? And he was the second best Penn State running back to wear number 26. He's
nothing wrong with number 2. Okay,
but he's made some cash. He's made some cash, right? So the Panthers were nice enough to pay him and Matt Rule, if I recall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's not go down that road.
Sorry, I had to do it. But I'm not worried about the Cowboys running game, because I think that's why they went with Schottenheimer. They're going to make sure the line is solid. They're going to make sure they do fundamentals. But what Ben said is what I think is the key. Like, can the defense actually stop the run, and thus can they actually stop anybody, right? Because you got, there is a guy named Asante Samuel Jr., but that's really what Diggs is, right? Like you said, like the ultimate gambler. Like, if you don't have, the stout stuff in front, that's the problem. So Dak's healthy and the defense is better than expected. Yeah, the Cowboys could be really formidable, but like I said, we'll see.
Yeah, I think what Dallas will have to do if they want that rush defense to hold up is to get ahead. When they're up 7, 14, 20 points, it makes it a lot easier to stop the run. And when you look at our teams that have been successful over the last 5-6 years, it's been top 5 offense, top 5 pass rush. And yeah, you got to stay ahead. That's the biggest thing. And the offense was so anemic last year that you never got put in a position to let those pass rushers feast. So you hope with the addition of Pickens, the revamped scheme that they're trying to implement, that they can jump out to leads a little sooner. Because, as I said at the beginning of the show, they will go as far as Dak can take them. And if Dak can sling the ball around the yard, it's going to make everything else is going to fall into place like they're hoping. And if he doesn't get hurt, at least we got Joe Milton, who can do a backflip and throw the ball 80,000 yards. So I've never been more excited to watch preseason football in my life.
All right. That means the G-Men, the Giants, Brian, are the last one up. All right. So my question – FanDuel has Giants at over under 5.5 wins. All right. My question is, can Andrew Thomas stay healthy? Left tackle stud for the Giants. I love me some Andrew Thomas. Can he stay healthy? That's my big question there. And I also like your own line coach that you had back in the day, Carmen something. I can't remember his name at the moment. But yeah, really bright spot for you guys as well back in the day. But yes, Andrew Thomas, can he stay healthy? My position to watch is quarterback, like we've been talking about, whether it's Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. The problem is their schedule. You open up with the Commanders, who I know other Brian is not here to talk about that. Then Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers. I'll get more to the schedule in a second, but that first four is just brutal. All right, my breakout player is not a player. It's a coach. It's Mike Kafka, your offensive coordinator. Your offense is going to be different and better than it was in 2024. Kafka was on Andy Reid's staff back in 2017. He's a rising star in the NFL. He was actually a finalist for the Saints job that actually went to Kellen Moore. So he is a rising fast coach in this league. So I think that is my coach, if you will, / player to watch for the Giants. And then will you be better than 2024? Yes. I think you're going to get 6-7 wins, maybe even 8, if depending on how quarterback goes. Your team is much improved. On paper, the defense is probably top 3 in the league. Secondary is much better after signing Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo, if I have him right on my notes here. And then obviously the quarterback situation is not going to be much worse. It has to be slightly better than it was. And then, but my downfall for the Giants, unfortunately, is as you know, Brian, the league's toughest schedule based on how to have in my notes here, both from an opponent's winning percentage from 2024 and projected win totals from 2025. So that's unfortunately the downfall for me for the Giants.
Where would you like me to start?
Or do you want Adam and Mike to start? Or you can respond however you want to do it.
Yeah, Adam, you go first. I want to see you come out with it. You're probably going to say Dexter Lawrence is going to.
No. Dexter Lawrence is a great player. I like to ruffle feathers. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm actually my favorite anecdote from going to an Eagles game at Veterans Stadium in the 700 level. Actually witnessed it was an Eagles Giants like near the end of the season, very cold, like stuff freezing over. So some Giants fans got up to go use the restroom and get some refreshments, and an Eagles fan decided he would go ahead and use the restroom on their seats. And I have another buddy who actually the Eagles Super Bowl parade back with the Foles Super Bowl. I went to that parade with him, and he was infamous for, like, if you look up, like, you Google like Eagles fan punches Giants fan out cold, like it's one of the top searches, and I know that guy. So no love lost with the fans, but I think, like, look, 5.5 is just disrespectful, right?
I agree.
Teams can like accidentally get 6 or 7 wins in this randomized NFL at times. Mike Kafka, Andy Reid isn't his only former Eagles tie. He was drafted by the Eagles out of Northwestern, right. I recall, like maybe like a 4th round pick or something.
I'll look that up. I think that's
so. The Giants are formidable, and I do think they made the right call by keeping Shane and Daboll, right? Like, no one would have been super competitive with that roster, when it got it. I mean, give Gettleman credit for drafting Andrew Thomas, but he also like paid Jonathan Stewart and stuff like that. Like, remember his making fun of analytics stuff? Like the game had passed him by. And so, it takes a few years usually to turn. Like, the Giants were just bereft of talent, and they're not anymore. Like you said, their key to those Super Bowls was a front 7 that came into its own in the playoffs. I mean, one of those teams was 9-7 in the regular season. All right, is that the one that beat the undefeated Patriots? They were 9-7 in the regular season. That's just disrespectful.
Yep, they were the 6th seed.
Yeah, so like, but this front 7 was key, and they went back to that formula. And they said, we're going to stock the front 7. I don't know why the Panthers gave him Brian Burns. That was a mistake. And Abdul Carter, I mean, again, I'm a Penn State guy. He's a difference maker. He's going to be there's no way he's going to be bad. Like, he's at worst going to be pretty darn good, and he might be really good. So, yeah, I think the Giants win. I would put their over under right around 7, and they could surprise if Dart, like, rookies sometimes come into their own really fast in today's NFL. And if, like, under the right tutelage, if Danger Russ is helping him out and stuff, and maybe he gets a little injury 5-6 games into the year and Dart comes in. I don't know, man. They got some juice. That's all I said. They got talent. They got juice. They got a chance.
Brian knows this. Brian Burns. I was not going to mention him on purpose. I wanted to mention other players because we've talked about that trade a lot since that happened, obviously. But yes, I do. The answer to your question, though, is Adam. Panthers offered Brian Burns $27 million per year. Giants offered him $30, and he decided to go to the Giants.
I would too. I think for me with the Giants, and one of my best friends is a Giants fan. I have a lot of cousins who are Giants fans, so I talk a surprisingly large amount of Giants ball. We've talked about the Cowboys and Dak. We've talked about the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. We've talked about the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. One of these quarterback rooms is not like the other, and that's the New York Giants, and they will really go with the quarterback room. And I'm sorry, I watched Russ on the Steelers last year, and that was uninspiring. And as fun as Jameis Winston is with bombs, I don't know if he's a winning quarterback. So it comes down to Jackson Dart. What I really appreciate that they did is that they didn't give up any future firsts to go get that quarterback. You know, you see teams just unload the war chest to get their quarterback. If it does not work out with Jackson Dart this year and the Giants are picking in the top 5 again, they will have a new coach, a new GM, and probably a new quarterback. We've seen teams move on from recent first-round picks when they don't work out. Josh Rosen is a recent example. So it's just going to come down to the quarterback room for me because I love the talent. I love Malik Neighbors. I love Wan'Dale Robinson. Tyrone Tracy is my dude. Love the pass rush. If the quarterback isn't good, it's not going to matter. And that's what I'm most excited to watch the Giants because Jackson Dart is fun. And if he can translate into an NFL quarterback with Daboll, who we consider one of the best quarterback developers in football, you know, maybe Josh Allen's just always destined to be that good. But yeah, that's my thought. If Jackson Dart can, or if any of those quarterbacks can play well, they should be able to win some games. And if not, well, they'll be picking top 5 again.
Yeah, and I don't know if if you even look at like Vegas odds, if the past 4 or 5 years, like it gets built into, hey, they haven't had like a good quarterback, nor they've tried to replace Daniel Jones really. And so with there's no confidence whatsoever with, you know, and it looks messy about what we did this offseason. I think it makes sense with, hey, they probably couldn't sign Russ right off the gate. So they were like, let's get at least Jameis. Russ probably wasn't getting the offers that he was intending to. So they said, let's get Russ because we like him more than Jameis. And then Brian Daboll is probably like, hey, we're not getting thrown out of New York without drafting our own quarterback. So this might be the year. So if Jameis isn't getting on the field unless if the other two get hurt, I think it goes Russ and then it's Dart. So if Russ starts all 17 games, I think we make the playoffs because that shows that he was doing something right and he was better than what he was in Pittsburgh. We also just we signed Holland, we signed a Debo, like Deontay Banks, thank goodness, doesn't have to be our cornerback 1. That was like abysmal. Like he can actually be at number 2. I'm hoping Bobby Okereke can be go back to 2 years ago when he was a really stud linebacker for us, and actually Micah McFadden was actually a really good underrated linebacker for us. And then we drafted Darius Alexander to put next to Dexter Lawrence because, goodness, whenever we take Dex off the field, like teams average 12 yards a run on us. So like it's not, you know, and those aren't fun, you know. And so I think it does lean on what the quarterback does. It seems like Daboll is excited about Jackson Dart. He wanted him. If we go 1-3 out of the gate, I think we can see Jackson Dart come in pretty quick.
So I'll let you guys kind of finish up and you can ask, you know, any out the door questions. Let me my last one from me and Ben, if you have anything, and you guys can all kind of ask questions as we go out the door here. Last one from me, as I emailed you. How do you think your team's going to ultimately finish this season? Doesn't have to be a record. It can just be, generally speaking, how do you think they're going to finish? What's kind of your best case scenario? What's your like worst case scenario for your team this year?
Yeah, for Dallas, I think the best case is, like I mentioned, all this coach speak, this plan that they keep talking about translates on the field. and they get back to the teams that we saw prior to last season. Because while Mike McCarthy might not have been the best coach, that team was always competitive. We always were in the playoff race. And, you know, the best case scenarios, I'm not putting Super Bowl. I gave up on winning a Super Bowl a long time ago. I want to make an NFC Championship game. I want that, because when the Lions and the Commanders are on the doorsteps to those games, it just really makes my heart hurt. So best case scenario, everything translates. The running game does what it needs to do. The passing game is thriving, and Dallas can finally make the NFC Championship. I think the worst case is my initial reaction to the Brian Schottenheimer hire, uninspiring, and we look uninspiring. And Dak maybe struggles with injuries, or George Pickens decides he wants to channel his inner Terrell Owens. It could be very bad. And one of the issues with Jerry is he doesn't like firing coaches. He's only fired one coach in season ever, and that was Wade Phillips, and they were like 1-7 when they did it. If things go badly, he's not moving on from Schottenheimer anytime soon. And I think they're going to need success right off the bat to get confidence from the fans, confidence in this new system. And yeah, I do think that they can be a playoff team. I do think the NFC East could have 3 playoff teams with just how talented these rosters are. Sorry, it's not the Giants. it's the other 3. So yeah, I do expect the division to be well represented in the postseason.
I think for me, I go back to like natural regression. So going back to like even Eagles, Commanders, I think while the Eagles are probably the best team, I think both teams can slip. I think my worry, I think that Commanders just simply overperformed last year. We went into last year probably thinking the Commanders were either going to be 3rd or 4th, and Eagles and Cowboys were going to be 1st and 2nd, and then we ended up seeing the Commanders in the wild card round. The NFC Championship, and then they really didn't do anything except draft Jaden Daniels, and he played really, really amazing. You know, it was like I don't know how that team gets back to where they were. I think they can fall down to like missing the playoffs, getting the 7 wins. They may finish last or 3rd. I'm not sure. They added some veteran pieces. For Dallas, it doesn't seem like you guys changed anything about your team really to make me feel like you guys are going to take a step forward. And if we're going to bank on Dak doing this thing, and I mean, he's been in the league for 10 years now, it feels like. I want to believe I told you guys he's the best passer of this group. I don't know as far as this year for me. I don't know how you guys get to the playoffs with sort of the same type of roster. Like Micah Parsons is doing what he can. He's doing Pro Bowl season after Pro Bowl season. I can see us just based on talent wise, like, hey, this like weird defense we're gonna put together with skinny pass rushers, but and maybe Brian Burns actually is worthy a little bit of his $30 million contract per year. And maybe our offensive line finally gets it together. I think that's the biggest worry for me, though, as a Giants fan, is like, hey, we're still going to be a roster dump of an offensive line, and Andrew Thomas gets hurt, and it doesn't matter who we have at quarterback because Jackson Dart's not as special as Jaden Daniels. So I think it could be 2nd for us. I think it could be 4th or 3rd easily as well.
I actually agree with you on the Commanders take. I think, I know the other Brian's not here to represent, but yeah, I think Commanders could either miss the playoffs or like barely, like 7 or 8, maybe 9 wins, or they could be just as good as they were last year. And Jaden Daniels is him, as the kids say nowadays.
Yeah, checks out. I mean, for the Birds, right? Like I said, 2023 is still pretty fresh in my mind. You know, it was actually a game against the Bills. If you remember that overtime game, you know, Jalen Hurts goes in the end zone, wins the game in overtime, and then they just stunk after that. They couldn't win it. They couldn't. It was like they blew it all. And it wasn't. You couldn't point to like one injury or anything. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles have some players that, if like Lane Johnson's one of them, AJ Brown's another one. Hurts, obviously. I mean, you know, we like Tanner McKee, and they, but like bottom line is they are a few injuries away from being not as competitive. So like the worst case scenario is like a kind of also ran playoff team. I can't see the Eagles being bad enough to actually not make the playoffs with 7 teams making it. I mean, it could happen. I just don't.
Your 49ers, the 49ers, I think last year with all those injuries, unless you had something like that, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have a wide receiver who gained 80 pounds and, our quarterback, his arm is attached. I love Brock Purdy seems to be a really great dude, man of God, love that guy, but he's not the athlete or the, that Jalen Hurts is. He's just not that guy. And the best, like I said, there's a solid chance this team could be really, really, really good and could win the Super Bowl again. Everyone knows that. If everything goes right, and not everything went right last year, but after the week 5 bye week, almost everything went right. And then nobody, me included, nobody saw that Super Bowl coming the way that came. A whole lot of people who didn't want a three-peat really enjoyed that. So I don't know how I'm going to enjoy an Eagles Super Bowl win as much as I enjoyed that one, but I'll try.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you'll try.
Well, I said last question, but this is really Adam made me say this. Mike, were you cheering for the Chiefs in that Super Bowl?
Oh, you bet. You know it.
Just making sure. Okay.
Again, asteroid meteorite would have been preferred regardless. Worst case scenario was rooting for Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Dude, Mike, did you see that guy who had the big Cowboys tattoo on his back and had it redone as a Chiefs tattoo?
Well,
you gotta look it up.
That guy's just a quitter. You're in this for life.
Yeah, Mike said he's a weirdo. Yeah, Mike said that guy's a weird. I mean, it's not weird enough that you get a Dallas Cowboy tattoo all over your back. That ain't weird enough. That's like the kid that was that's like when LeBron them was with the Cavs playing Golden State. The kid got on the Cavs jersey, and when the Cavs started losing, he pulled it off. He had a Golden State jersey right underneath. You got fans like that. But I mean, my quick take on all the teams. I'm sitting to listen to you guys. I come up with words for teams. When I think of the Commanders, I think it's going to be reality. 2024 was perception. 2025 is going to be reality because they got a full year on Jaden. They're not going to let Jaden Daniels beat them the way they did. Remember the Wildcat? Who shut that down? I remember Ronnie Brown was doing the Wildcat out of Auburn down there in Miami. They go up to New England, shut it down, never to be seen from or heard from again because Bill Belichick got embarrassed the first time. Second time, they said, all right, Ronnie, we like you, but we finna shut that down. When I think about the Giants blast from the past, last time they was good, they had a quarterback from Ole Miss, so they went and got another one. Give me another quarterback from Ole Miss. Hopefully he can do what the first guy did. The only thing the first guy grew up in the lineage of Mannings. This guy is from Utah. I mean, I seen Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's offense at Ole Miss does not translate to the NFL. If you watched it, I would have loved to have been that offense. Them route combinations, I'm like, what type of routes are these? Like, guys ain't even running record. But I do know the one thing he has a big arm. And like I said, if I could Daniel Jones, Jackson Dart, I'll go with Jackson Dart, even though Daniel Jones chose to leave the building. When I think about the Cowboys do what they always do. Always. Brandon, baby. The brand is alive and well. You get George Pickens, there go to Brandon, right? Mika Parsons got a podcast calling Jerry Jones the greatest, GM. That's Brandon. The problem is it's got to be more than that. But they are winning the perception game when it comes to the brand. And like I said, if Dak Prescott is healthy, and that's a big if, Dak Prescott has one problem. 4th down conversions in the playoffs to move. In 4th and 20, he'll run for 20. In 4th and 20, he'll run for 20 yards, kneel down and say, wait, that's the end of the game? Come on, Dak. Love you, Dak. Real name is Dakota. And obviously the Eagles, and I'm going to say this about every team that's in the division, that's the best team, I'm going to give them this C word, culture. When you got the best culture in your division, you got a shot to win a lot of games because right now, Nick Sirianni he can't mess this up. Like, I can't even mess this up, man. I ain't arguing with my players no more. Jalen Carter and Dexter Lawrence, we'll take a D tackle down there in Atlanta. We just sent our D tackle to freaking Chicago. And listen, y'all talk about problems, right? You know how many sacks Atlanta had on 3rd down in 2024? All 2024? 7.
I was going to say.
Listen. Do you know how bad you got to be to have 7 sacks all year on 3rd down? Anyway, I'm trying to keep this a positive show. But here's the thing about the Eagles, right? The Eagles can only beat themselves. You got a quarterback in Jalen Hurts. I mean, giving these quotes, man, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what? I had a purpose way before y'all had an opinion. I mean, Jalen, listen, the only thing Jalen Hurts need to do is stay the hell away from my wife. Stay away from her. I don't want you around her. And that Jalen Hurts guy could play. Yeah, but we ain't watching the Eagles. Me or Dominique Foxworth's wife, because she seemed to have a crush on him too. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this division because no matter what, the NFC is always unpredictable. Anything can happen. Jaden Daniels showed you. But this is why I think reality for the Commanders. When's the last time the Commanders or the Redskins or the Washington football team had 2 back-to-back good seasons? They don't. They do not. If RG3 wins Rookie of the Year, what happens next year? That's why they draft Kirk Cousins in that same draft, right? Yes, Kirk Cousins played for my Falcons. If you're looking for a quarterback, listen, Brian, y'all already got 3. You can add 1 more. You ain't going to play Jameis. We can send Kirk up there. He made $150 million in 2024. Anyway, fellas, let me tell you something, man. The NFC East is one of the most exciting divisions of football because of the players, the GMs, the head coaches, the brands. But unless the Eagles just fall off a cliff, it's gonna be hard to beat the Eagles. But you don't got to beat the Eagles to get in. I think the most intriguing team is gonna be your Giants. Brian, I want to see that defense can do. If Jackson Dart is ready to play, I think you put him in sooner rather than later. Here's why. I like Russell Wilson, but when a future Hall of Famer is on 3 teams in 3 years, I have a problem with that because Bo Nix let me know what was going on with you, Russ, in Denver. I thought it was Denver, and Bo comes in and wins. Nobody's winning. Listen, I love Mike Tomlin, but you know what Mike Tomlin can't do? He can't pick quarterbacks. Since Ben Roethlisberger has left, everybody has came through Pittsburgh. I mean, everybody, and nobody's working. I'm looking forward to see what this division can do, and I'm like for it. Dagner lost like 20 pounds. He's slimmed down. Dexter Lawrence is the best big man dancer on the planet. He's dancing right now, and who gonna tell him he can't? I ain't gonna tell him he can't dance. The little whatever the thing he does with his arms. I think it's gonna be a great year this year because Jaden Daniels will put the whole division on notice, saying, "Look, man, I'm the young gun who's too young to understand the severity of the complexities of this division in this position that I play." But I'm looking forward to it, man. I think y'all division is gonna be crazy. But I do agree with something Michael said. I want to see if George Pickens can stay focused for 18 weeks. Because here's the thing. George Pickens is not a top 5 receiver, but when he is at his best, he's top 10. George Pickens, I don't know how he's the best. The way he can track the ball in the air, it's just he can't stay focused, man. Like, listen, if y'all want to see George Pickens, type in Georgia Tech, George Pickens. It's just watch this dude. They ain't even throw him out of college, and he throwing haymakers. So I'm big George Pickens fan, but I want to see. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see CeeDee Lamb, who said he's never been locked up, going to Queen Young Mitchell Island, first game of the year, and I want to see. I'll pay for stuff like that. And hey, Michael, I'm gonna see if Michael Parsons can beat Michael Parsons against Lane, because Lane. Listen. Let me tell you something. You know who the most feared people in football? Bald head white dudes with goatees and beards. You can't do nothing with them. I'm telling you. Go look at the tape. Go look at the tape. They bald head white dude with a goatee and a beard. He takes life very seriously, people. He will F you up in real life and on the football field. But no, man, it's been fun, man. We should have been done this. I mean, I'm happy we started with you guys. Y'all kept it real PG, even though Adam will. Adam will come at people.
Keep it real. Yes.
No, Adam. No. That's what I like. I like when Adam says something. Brian, like, listen, Dexter Lawrence is the best. I will die on this here. Dexter Lawrence is the best. But Brian said we got skinny pass rushers coming off the edge. They ain't allowed to be over 250. 250 is hey Brian, get down to 240. Because what Carter? I mean, what Abdul? He's what 235. Yep. You know, I'm just saying that's cute at Penn State, and you the man, but you're gonna have to eat more carbs, gentlemen. You're gonna have to eat a couple of more carbs. No vegans, man. No vegans in the NFC East. You can't win like that. I'm just telling you. Ain't gonna win like that.
Well, yeah, I was actually real easy on Mike for whatever reason. Like I said, I kind of have always had a soft spot for the Giants. Definitely never the Cowboys. But you did mention the branding. You're right. The Cowboys have the brand is worth. I think it's still worth more than every other NFL team, even the Patriots.
Yeah.
You know, but really the reason is because it's not a logo; it's a rating. 1 star out of 5.
Hey man, I'll tell you this: as a Cowboys fan, you know which fan base I hate the most? The freaking Cowboy fans. I kind of hate most of our fans. They're just there's so many bad Cowboy fans that make us look awful. And when we're winning, you know, you get like I'm going back to 2006. You get Jessica Simpson showing up to games, like you know, yeah, but you know, it's just I do wish that sometimes it was less the brand, but you know, it's one of those things like I rock that star and I feel good. You know, I've always been an away fan. I've never lived in Dallas. I've been to most of my games at away stadiums, so I just learned to take it. And I'll say one quick story of my favorite. I went to 2 games at the link. One was against the Cowboys. It was when Michael Vick was starting. And, you know, I heard a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, Eagles fans are scary. They're scary. They're going to mess you up. I'm like, okay, well, Dad, let's just be quiet. Let's just try not to be too rowdy. And I'm wearing my DeMarcus Ware jersey under my hoodie, you know, zip up hoodie. And I go to the bathroom and there's this old Cowboys guy, the old Cowboys fan, hat, jersey, everything. He's just getting shit on constantly by these Eagles fans nonstop. And remember, this was pre-Super Bowl. And he screams at the top of his lungs, "Win up and ring." And I have never heard a bathroom at a football game get so quiet. I unzipped my jacket and I walked out of that bathroom with him full of pride. And we won the freaking game too. So I think he might have jinxed it though, because they won a Super Bowl a few years later.
So that was a nice memory from quite some time ago, right?
Oh, it was a great, my favorite non-on the field Cowboys memory was that old guy, 7 years old.
Is that what we're going to start doing? We finna start talking about winning Super Bowls. Didn't I tell you I was a Falcons fan, Michael? That's what y'all gonna start doing? We don't gotta do this. Because let me tell y'all something. Listen, let me tell y'all something. You know, I can't go nowhere and say 28-3 this, 28-3 that, 28-3 this. I mean, the Eagles' first Super Bowl, it was won by a dude named Nick, who has a freaking statue outside. Right? I'm just telling y'all. We had Julio. We had, you know what I'm saying, Roddy White. We had Michael Burnett Turner. We had the MVP of the league. Who cares? We 28-3, balling. I done left. I said, you know what, game over. I can turn it off. I can go to sleep. Woke up the next morning. I'm like, what? Is this a nightmare? Like, yeah, man. So I'm just telling y'all don't even you, Brian, you got to see it twice. And this guy's gonna get in the Hall of Fame because he beat Tom Brady twice. Eli Manning is the direct opposite of his brother in the regular season. Peyton Manning might be the best regular season quarterback, and Eli is god awful in the regular season. But he get in the playoffs, you can't touch him. This dude just, hey man, I'm just saying, y'all don't got to start talking about Super Bowls, man. Okay, we get it. Okay, like I said, y'all
makes you feel better. I was 5 years old when they won one.
No. Because I got to make sure. All the
these guys, yeah.
No. Listen, and me and my wife, you know, we had to do wills. We had to write our wills and stuff, you know, being married and stuff. The guy said, "Is there any special provision you want?" And I said, "Yeah, I want Atlanta Falcons players to be my pallbearers." She's like, "Why?" So they can let me down one last time. Just let me on in there. Why not? Just you know. So it's all good. I mean, Brian, like I said, man, getting drafted with Eli. Eli is a golly gosh whiz like looking dude in the face, right? But Eli to me had to go through more scrutiny than any other quarterback I know because he had to do it in New York. You got to forget thick skin. You got to maybe like, you know, Philly, because y'all fans really understand football. Dallas fans. Listen, my daughter was there one day. She said, "Daddy, when I'm gonna tell him?" Say, "Tell him you're a Cowboys fan." What? Just tell him you're a Cowboys fan. They go, what? You 3 hours late for school? Like, what's going on? I said, "Man, Cowboys fan, go to class." Why? Excuses, man. A Cowboys fan gonna give you an excuse. It is everybody's fault but us. It is not Dak's fault. It's not Jerry Jones' fault. It's not Stephen Jones' fault.
Oh no, it's Jerry Jones' fault. It's Jerry Jones' fault.
Go ahead, Brian. I think Brian.
100%.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, it's Jerry Jones' fault. Like he built the brand of the Cowboys. But let's talk about the stadium real quick. Number one, they put they put it in the direction of where the sun goes into the stadium every single home game that they play, and it seems like they probably blind the players. Number two, they stick the scoreboard like 10 feet in the air so that anytime a punt goes, it hits the scoreboard. I mean, what are we doing here? You're bigger brain than that. But this is why you guys don't win Super Bowls. Like, you got things that are preventing you from winning. Like, they're not.
I mean,
like,
even Mike,
like the Eagles,
this is from the guy whose home field like literally ends careers all the time. Like, everyone's like, the MetLife Field is a good way to die. And he is still justifiably talking crap about AT&T Stadium. This is beautiful.
And Mike, you mentioned Tony Romo. I mean, do I mention Luke Kuechly, 2015? I was there, the 15-1 season. We ended Tony Romo's career, essentially.
Yeah, I unfriended a lot of Carolina fans that game because they were mocking him on the turf. So I will say,
I did not do that.
Tony Romo broke his back playing for his team. At least he would have dove for a fumble in the Super Bowl. I guarantee it. He would have done that. So
Cam has also owned that. That's true.
He's owned it. He's owned it recently, but now that he's owned it, he don't want to talk about it. Listen, I've already said it. I don't want to talk. No. Cam, Cam was looking around like, did you think anybody saw me? No, Cam. Nobody saw you not die for the fumble. Like, nobody saw you go, oh, no. I'm just saying, Von Miller goes on win defensive MVP. You know what's crazy about sports? We know more about the teams we play than our team is. And we can tell you, oh, yeah, the team that we lost to, oh, yeah, man. I mean, pick a number, any number. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what makes football grand is, here's the question, though, that I always ask. And I want to know from you guys. What would you rather have? See your team win or see the team you hate the most lose?
I want to win.
I want to win. Get me a Super Bowl, then I'll root for everyone else to lose.
Yeah, there's not a team I hate that much, I especially now, right? I mean,
it's not hate. It's just like there's a Dallas Cowboy fan that lives in Antarctica. Like, they are everywhere. Like, Cowboys fans are everywhere. There's nothing like Giant fans are real. Like, I lived in Jersey. Giants, Jets fans are real fans, right? I mean, I get it. Eagle fans are real fans. Dallas fans, I go up to them and I smell the jersey. I go, that jersey just came out the wrapper. You ain't no Cowboys fan, man. I'm telling you, you pick up a Cowboys fan every day. They're in every state. I mean, a place they barely got electricity. I root for them boys. There's a guy online, and he sings this song called "Them Boys." Like, if they win, I don't know if you guys seen it. He's like a preacher. He be singing it. It's catchy. He's catchy, but all I can say is I got a lot of Dallas Cowboys friends, and it's good for barbershop talk. You go up in the barbershop and get your haircut or something. Yeah. Then what you think?
Again, they're my most hated fan base. I love my team. I've been a fan of them for a long time. A lot of great memories with the Cowboys. I have probably gotten in more fights online with Cowboy fans about my team than any other team. But the subsection that is, really educated and kind of knows what they're talking about. Great fans, great passion, really great community. I have some friends that I only know from interacting with them on Twitter talking about the Cowboys. And yeah, a lot of them suck. It's just kind of the way it is when you have a team like the Cowboys. It just comes with the territory. And when I go to away games, I try not to be one of those obnoxious Cowboy fans because I really hate them. So
what about all your fellow Lakers and Yankees fans, though? How do you feel about that?
I mean, you see what hat I'm rocking, so I can't say what I want to say, but I really don't like the Lakers.
We got a Yankees fan on here.
No,
I'm saying if Mike's a Cowboys fan, he's a Lakers fan.
Okay. That is the evil empire. We do all we can to bring
Lakers,
I'm just making sure.
Cowboys.
All right.
And no one cares about hockey.
Exactly. Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Ben, real quick, this is for you too.
Yes.
Two-part question. Favorite coach in the NFL that you ever played for? It could be a position coach or a head coach. And then 2, hardest guy to block at the tight end position.
Oh, shoot. I appreciate Jeff Fisher for drafting me. My favorite coach to play for was John Gruden because you cannot exaggerate how he is. Like what you see on Hard Knocks or what you see on Sound Bites, he used to the run game coordinator, when we're doing offensive break and when we're doing offensive meeting, the run game will take about 5 minutes. And when the run game coordinator walk out, he will make us clap for him. Like, clap it up, because he's finna go into the passing game. And he will record himself. Like, it's a camera in the corner recording him, and he will go back and watch himself, like in his office by himself. Like, he was a different than Chuck. He was great to be around, but you realize real quick you don't love football that much. Like, he'd be like, hey, Ben, I got this play. I'm like, man, I'm trying to go home, man. I respect you. Like, he loved football. And the hardest got to block, man. For me, whoa. I think the guy that gave me okay, I'm gonna pick two. The hardest guy to block that was in my division was Dwight Freeney. Like, he was so fast. He wasn't, it's not that he would overpower you. I mean, that's 4-3 coming off the edge. I'm like, what? But the hardest guy to block, and I appreciate him dumbing down his talent for me, was freaking Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers, I mean, I'm a tall dude. Like, I'm 6'5". Julius Peppers like 6'7". So you come out on the field, I mean, Julius Peppers was like 6'7", like 290, no body fat. Like, what? Like, to me, that's the kind of stuff I don't like. He has a dark visor, so you can't see his eyes. You don't. When coaches say things like, don't say nothing to him, what am I going to say? What am I going to say to Julius Peppers outside of, you all right, you good? Did I hit you too hard? Now, the slipperiest guy to block was Jason Taylor, because he's not that big. Jason Taylor's slim, but dude, I mean, man, at the end of the day, man, all of them. Hell, I mean, all the guys I had to deal with. That go Michael Strahan one week. That go Jason Taylor the next week. That go Dwight Freeney the next week. I'm like, what the hell going on? I didn't come here for this, man. But I appreciate this. When you go back, at least for me, you go back and you see the fact that you share the same field with these dudes. You know, I call touchdown passes against Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins is my favorite football player to play against, because we playing Philly. The one time I played them in Philly is the game that Donovan McNabb tore his ACL on our sideline. And listen, every Italian in Philly was right there. They were pissed. They would get away from him. I said, y'all got a jail? Yeah, we got a jail at the stadium. Like, God, dog. You're like, yeah, we get locked up like every week. I caught a touchdown pass against Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins hits Lindell White. He hits him on a regular running play. Lindell White jumps up. He's talking trash. He cussing Brian Dawkins out. Brian Dawkins yells at him, hallelujah, and started speaking in tongues. Lindell White runs to the sideline and tells Jeff Fisher, tells Norm Chow, hey, dude, somebody need to talk to that dude. Like, he possessed. Like, he didn't want to go back out on the field. I said, dude, that's what Brian Dawkins is like. I went against Brian Dawkins and Troy Polamalu and Bob Sanders and John Lynch and Ed Reed. And I was there in the golden age of safeties. Like, the guys I had to deal with, Bob Sanders don't get the recognition, but he hit our other tight end, Bo Scaife, so hard. I've never heard this on the sideline, fellas. I heard this. Bo Scaife is out. He has a lacerated spleen. Every guy on the sideline said, what the hell is a spleen? He just broke his spleen? I'm telling y'all, man. But I mean, got drafted with Jason Peters, who ended up one of the great left tackles for the Eagles. Think about this at the combine. You hear 6'4", 250, 6'5", 260, 6'4", 255, 6'5", 325. Wait, whoa. At tight end, yep. Who was the second team All-SEC coming out of Arkansas. But no, man, I enjoy my time, man, because I would have loved to have won the Super Bowl. Loved it. I would be T.O. if I won the Super Bowl. Y'all couldn't have dealt with me on this show. I would be on here flashing my ring. No, man. I mean, it was dope, man. I played with Steve McNair. I played with Vince Young. I played with Pac-Man Jones. I got knocked out in a game, a real concussion, to where I get hit. I go to the sideline. That's all I remember. I remember being at the game. Somebody asked me where I was at, and I looked around. I'm like, I said, I'm saying I'm at the game like a question. I'm at the game. They go, yeah. So, and that's way before the blue tent. I ain't get the blue tent. I got how many numbers am I putting up? 2, 3? I got that. So, no, man, but it's a dream, man, to be doing this now with Smitty, having you guys on. This is way funner than playing football. You appreciate the checks. I ain't know what acupuncture was. I'm from the country. I don't know what, chambers. I got to get in this thing and zip it up. And they said, Ben, y'all ain't working right. I was scared to just zip it all the way. I'm not going to lock myself. I done seen too many scary movies, G. I'm not zipping it. So, I'm just happy I got a chance to do it. It was fun, man. I mean, it was just certain guys are just cheat code, man. I couldn't block. Julius Peppers let me block him. I was blocking him one time and he finna push me over. I ain't no offensive tackle, so I ain't, you got me in pass blocking. You get what you get. You better hurry up and get it off. So he's pulling me to the ground with one arm. I'm about to hit the ground and he pulled my whole body back up. I look at him like, you've been in the weight room, haven't you? All right, cool. So, it's fun though, man. Like any player that tell you, you don't know how you even got here, man. Or some of the guys you grew up watching, that Zach Thomas is like 5'6", 5'7", and will hit everything. Ray Lewis, I thought Ray Lewis was going to be like 6'6". Ray Lewis might be 6 feet tall. But when he put that 52 on his chest, he just broke like 6 inches. So yeah, man, I enjoyed it, man. It was dope, man. It was dope to be able to. Where I'm from, it's so small that when you go to the prom, you take pictures at your house, take pictures at her house. You go to the gym, and the whole city comes out and watch you walk with your date like it's graduation. So I'm like walking with this date. We have Brian from. So yeah, man. Well, it's a dream, man. It's I enjoyed it. So now I'm on these airways talking trash. My wife was like, "Are you on there embarrassing me?" I said, "No, I'm embarrassing both of us, baby. I'm on here talking trash about you and me. I'm telling people you an Aints fan. Think about that. I married an Aints fan."
I mean, Ben, just think about it, man. Derek Carr, not exactly God's gift to quarterbacks. He's like, let's see, another year with the Saints, or nah, you know what? I'm out. I'm just out.
Yeah. No. That's why Roddy White is an Atlanta Falcons legend, because at the end of his career, the Saints wanted to offer him. He retired. That's how you do it, Roddy. Don't do. You know how the Houston Texans are trash? Because Andre Johnson, their greatest Texan, played for the Titans, played for the Colts. Think about that. You're gonna go, you're gonna play for you. Talking about, I wish I would have done that, but you did, and we can't take it back, Andre. So congratulations to the Hall of Fame. And Randy Moss, me and him both wore 84 with the Titans. I wore it before he did. I'm not Randy Moss by no means, but yeah, man. I would say watch out for the Titans, but they're not a real football team. I would say watch out for the Falcons, but they're not a real football team. So the only team we got a chance to beat was Carolina, and because of freaking Bryce Young, thanks a lot, Smitty, can't even beat them anymore.
So how about Julio Jones? How about Julio Jones wearing number 80 for the Eagles? That was nice, huh?
I mean, listen.
Never happened.
Listen. As long as Julio didn't wear Dallas Cowboy white and blue and silver or whatever,
he would have looked good in it, though.
He would have looked good in it, but you got to have boundaries. You got to have boundaries in this life. Real friends don't let their friends play for Dallas if we can help it. But if we can't help it, it's all good.
Hey, Adam, I got something to show you real quick. I still have this. I was at Brian Dawkins' retirement game.
Oh wow!
Still have the ticket. One of my uncle's buddies had a sweet ticket. So I'm like, yeah, I'll go. And the halftime ceremony for him was freaking outrageous. They had lasers and things. And then the cheerleaders came into our suite, and I blushed, couldn't talk, and I was way older than you think I should have been when to react to not being able to talk to pretty girls. So, but yeah, one of my random cool pieces of memorabilia from Brian Dawkins' retirement.
Yeah, another he actually played pretty well for the Broncos, but no one wants to remember that. But
no.
Yeah, his most devastating hits were against Falcons. I think he nearly took Algie Crumpler into.
Whoa! We know. We were there. Okay. We weren't there, but we were.
All right.
We were there.
I gotta cut in.
Don't do Algie like that. Don't do.
All right. This has been great. Winning the Division, episode 51, NFC East preview. Giants, Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles. Brian, Adam, Mike, thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. Any last words? We've gone 2 hours and 10 minutes, guys. This has been fantastic. Longest show of today for Winning the Division. Did not think we would go 2 hours. I'll be quite honest. Any last words from anybody?
Go Big Blue.
And just thanks for having us, and just keep everyone in Texas in your thoughts with all the flooding going on, and really sad. Didn't mean to bring the podcast down, but
Nope. No.
And listen, you see this right here? Make sure you guys go buy this. It's in stores right now. The Ben Troupe Bobby. No, it's not in stores. My son just made this. I just wanted you guys to see that.
That's awesome.
It's not in stores. So I don't. And to this day, I don't know who this is. I'm like, son, that's not me at all. What happened to my lower body? But anyway, it's all good. No, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys gonna put a lot of pressure, and I'm gonna say it to it. All the guys in other divisions, I'm gonna say, listen, man, we don't need y'all to come on here being nice. I don't need the pleasantries. Keep it real on here. We're keeping the PG, but no, man. I mean, Michael, Brian, Adam, we appreciate you guys. I be telling Smitty all the time. We make sure that our show is, fun, comfortable. We just talking sports, talking life, having fun with it. And you guys hit it out the park, man. You guys, you guys talking about O-line. I'm like, I the boys know the O-line name. I know some of them. I don't know all of them. They know the guard and the center. Well, like I said, I'm a Falcons fan. So what is the O-line, man? Like, what is that? Stop it. Stop the nonsense.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys next year.
That'll wrap up. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that'll wrap up Winning the Division, episode 51 here on the Keep Pounding Podcast Network, powered by Fans First Sports Network. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And we will see you guys next week for the next division preview, which will be, which is still being determined. So we will see you guys next week.